The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
This is Joey Osborne.
And Blanco Loco.
And we are live on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Try saying that 4 times when you've had one too many drinks.
Yo, this is Rich Latta from One Nation Radio. This is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network. We present to you the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin It Strong Style. Let's go. It's the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin It Strong Style. Covering New Japan, they ready to hold it down. Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Josh. Come and hit a job out and bury all the frauds. From the Tokyo Dome over to the G1. Social Suplex is the network where we can get it done. I'ma chill and let them have it, cause this is just an intro. Keeping the strong style, 6 stars from the get-go, boy. Yeah, from Tampa Bay to the Tokyo Dome, this is Keeping It Strong Style with your hosts, Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Joshua Smith. And thank you for listening.
Welcome to Keeping It Strong Style, the ace of podcasts on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Jeremy Donovan here alongside the young boy Josh Smith. On today's show, we'll be covering the historic All-In pay-per-view as well as our time in Chicago. You can support our show by subscribing to the Social Suplex Podcast Network on the podcast app of your choice and leaving a rating and review. You can also get all the podcasts and columns at socialsuplex.com. Go to socialsuplex.com/subscribe to sign up to get the podcast and columns delivered directly to your email inbox. And also make sure to check out our friends at pureresuroad.com. On the front page, Mike Grindle has the AJPW Summer Explosion Tour recap, so check that out and all the great stuff on that site. All right, young boy, we are back from Chicago.
Guess who's back? back again.
Strong Style's back. Tell a friend.
No, seriously, tell people about this show. We really we need your help. No, I'm glad to be back. I am tired though. This was an awesome weekend and an awesome day off here on Labor Day.
yeah, dude. All I did was just like chill today, like just trying to like decompress from the last few days and just like, you know, take in like everything we saw this weekend, man.
It was a life-changing experience, and I want to formally make my announcement that I am going to be a pro wrestler. I'm going to start taking bumps. No, I'm just playing. I'm not going to do that. No, but it really was. This was an inspiring weekend. Let's talk about it, man. Like, this was awesome.
We get in there, man. First day, we hit up Pro Wrestling Tees, and, you know, just an awesome, you know, just a moment as a fan of us going there, check that store out and just seeing all the merch. It was like the actual Pro Wrestling Tee size was a little bit smaller than I expected it to be. The warehouse size a little bit is bigger.
I want to know what they're hiding back there.
Yeah, you try to like go back there. They're like,
I didn't know it was like a different deal. It's just like there's a door, and it's not like a closet door. It's a glass door. You know what I mean?
Right.
Glass doors are usually a pretty inviting sort of thing, especially since like you can see through it. So I just thought it was. I thought it was like half the store is pro wrestling tees and half the store is 1 hour tees.
Right.
And I just thought like you could go in there because that's what it looks like. I mean, there's another door on the outside as well. But as soon as I opened that door, dude, they freaked out. They're like, "Oh, excuse me, what are you doing?" And I was like, "I want to see the store. I don't know."
And then they try to get you to buy a gimmick. Like, you buy a Pro Wrestling Tees logo t-shirt, you can get a free factory tour.
He's like, "Oh, well, if you just head outside, you can see our Wall of Fame. Or better yet, if you buy one of these $25 Pro Wrestling t-shirts, you get a full tour of the place." I was like, "I don't want a tour. I just want to..." I didn't know what I was doing. I just was trying to walk through this door, man. Like, I guess I won't go. I'll just stay right here. I'm good. But yeah, Pro Wrestling Tees was awesome.
Yeah, dude, a lot of great merch. Ended up getting a All-In t-shirt and a Chicago Bullet Club t-shirt.
Yeah, you know, with me, I do have some wrestling tees, but I'm not one to generally splurge on a wrestling t-shirt, you know. Jeremy is.
Yeah. I mean, the bets were that I was going to spend $200 this weekend on shirts.
No, I was proud of you, man.
I only spent $80.
Yeah, I was proud of you.
3 t-shirts.
Wait, you spent $80?
Yeah.
I thought you only spent $50.
I bought an AAW shirt.
Oh, yeah. So, okay, yeah. So, you impressing me has dwindled a
little bit.
It's gone down a little bit now. Your markdom has gone up a few points. I'll give you a 4.0. 4 stars.
4 stars, yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, no, Pro Wrestling Tees was really cool. Lots of cool shirts, meeting fans. Just being there is like, there's cool art. The parking was kind of crazy. I mean, parking in Chicago was crazy everywhere. But I mean, like this trip was like an adventure. It was really cool, just kind of going out, traveling around Chicago. I ended up getting one of the New Japan Pro Wrestling Chicago T-shirts. So it's the Lion Mark logo with in the background the colors. It's kind of like the U.S. flag one, but this one's the Chicago flag. So I'm a mark for whenever I'm in a city. If I want to get something, I don't know. Sometimes I'll just want to get a souvenir, and this is like, New Japan Pro Wrestling T-shirt with the Chicago flag. I mean, come on, like that's an awesome shirt.
Yeah,
and I think you got one too, right?
Yeah, I got the Bullet Club Chicago one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I kind of felt stupid though because I think that one you can only get in the store, and I think this one you can order online. Well, that's what someone had said. I don't know if that's true. I got finessed though. So.
Oh man.
But yeah, so I mean, we went to Pro Wrestling Tees. We did all the touristy stuff, the Bean, ate tons
Millennium Park,
deep dish pizza, big fountains, like everything. But let's talk about our wrestling experiences.
So, Thursday night we went to AAW Destination Chicago.
Before we talk about that, what did we not do?
We did not go to StarCast.
Any day.
The whole time we were there.
Yeah.
We did see Mr. Ass, Billy Gunn, in our hotel.
I'm pretty sure we saw Gail Kim when we were walking around Chicago, but I wasn't totally sure, and I didn't want to be that guy who's like, you're a beautiful Asian woman. Are you Gail Kim? And then her be like, no. Plus, I don't really like to bother wrestlers too much unless like it's an appropriate setting, so I didn't say anything, but I was like, is that her? Is that her? Funny enough, we did run into Jason Jordan in Tampa Airport on our way back.
Yeah, we did.
I was like, you're Jason Jordan. He's like, yep.
Yep. Look, we went to All In. He's like, cool.
And then like, he just got on his elevator, and I was like, see you, man.
Boy, freaking marks.
He was like these super marks right now. Like, he was not like, but it's whatever, I mean, it's the airport,
right?
But Jason Jordan, stud. But so I mean, we were all over Chicago, and then we went to the AAW show, Logan Park. Logan Park is awesome,
dude. That was like, you were like in heaven, dude.
I love Logan. Yeah, I love it there. It's like hipster paradise. Like, I was like,
all the coffee shops, all the white girls.
Oh my god, the girls in Chicago. I was like, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of girls there.
Yeah.
But, hey, but you know what? I didn't like ask anyone for their numbers. I didn't do anything. I behaved myself the whole trip. Right?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, very good.
So I mean, that's good.
Yeah, but yeah, Logan Park, Logan Square, very awesome. So yeah, we were there both Thursday and Friday. Thursday night was Destination Chicago. That show, it was broadcast on the High Spots network, which you can get now.
Only that show?
Only the Thursday night one.
Not the Friday show.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah. Which you can tell there was a big difference. I mean, the Thursday night show started on time, ended on time. The crowd was so hyped. Like it
was a great crowd.
All the matches were fire.
It was hot. Hot. And that Logan Square Auditorium is really, really hot. But the crowd was great. The Thursday night show was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it kicked off with AAW tag title match. We had the besties in the world, Davey Vega and Matt Fitchett, again with Scarlett Bordeaux, the Smoke Show, against wrestling, David Starr and Eddie Kingston.
I think the big takeaways for me on that match were just like how entertaining wrestling was. I mean, David Starr and Eddie Kingston, especially David Starr on the mic, is awesome. And then Scarlett Bordeaux getting involved in that match. They did a Doomsday device.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this girl. Like, I know who she is, but I haven't watched her work in Impact or anything like that. So, but yeah, man. So I mean, that was a great opener, real fun, real energetic.
And then we had the leader of the pack, Stephen Wolf, against Paco.
That was like the two guys I didn't know match.
Yeah, same here. I didn't recognize either of those guys.
It was good though.
Yeah,
it was good. It was a real entertaining match. Super fast-paced indie style match. I don't even remember who won or which guy's which.
Paco won with a small package.
That's right.
Yeah, he was like the kind of like the underdog.
He was getting killed.
Really small.
Yeah.
Then they had this awesome three-way match with Hot Fire, Myron Reed, Laredo Kid, and DJ Z.
Spot fest of the night for sure.
Oh yeah, dude, that match was great. Myron Reed's a guy who's been like kind of like bursting on the scenes. He had a great match with Cotto Brazil at MLW. Got signed to a contract for MLW.
Yeah, he's impressive. For him to go toe to toe with those two guys in general is great. But DJ Z is, to me, like was the standout in that match.
Yeah, I mean, he's gotten so much better since leaving Impact, and I love like the advancement of the gimmick with his little light up suit and like in the middle of the match saying DJ and like bang, get the ham, the ham horn.
Yes, that's cool. And then what was the next match?
So then there was Sami Callihan and Jessica Havoc.
They went against
actually,
Jimmy
I'm sorry. That was, I guess, they showed a promo, I guess, on the screen. The next match was actually AC Romero.
Oh, yes.
Against the AAW Heritage Champion Trevor Lee.
So up until this point, we'd seen nothing but fast-paced wrestling, very, very, very indie-rific, flippy fest type wrestling. So when this match came up, I was like, oh, this is going to be like the cool-down match, And then Trevor Lee came out, cut a great promo. AC Romero he comes out to I Don't Want to Lose Your Love Tonight.
Oh my gosh.
The crowd gets so into
such an epic entrance.
Like, I don't want to lose your love tonight. And like the whole crowd is like so into it. And I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
But then the match started, and it was kind of what you'd expect from a real big guy like AC and a smaller guy like Trevor Lee, kind of a gimmicky match. But as it kept going and kept building and building and building, it started turning into, I was like, wow, this match is getting really good. And then by the end of it, I was like, holy crap, this match is awesome.
Yeah, dude, it was, way better than I expected it to be. I'm familiar with Trevor Lee, never seen Ace Romero, but yeah, he was very impressive for a big guy.
Yeah, he was doing topes and suicide dives, and yeah, it was awesome. He can really go. Very entertaining guy too.
Yeah, Trevor Lee ended up getting the win with a flipping fallaway slam,
which was funny because it was supposed to be a title match, and then he conveniently
lost the title.
He lost the belt, which, I don't know if people realize this. Like, the belt is just a belt. The title is the actual recognition. You can lose your title without having the physical belt, but it's wrestling.
He finessed AC.
Yeah, he finessed AAW. He finessed all of us.
The next match, we had more tag team action with Kurt Stallion and Jake Something against OI4K, Dave and Jake Christ.
I kind of remember this match, but not really. I think it was okay.
Yeah, there was interference from Jimmy Jacobs and Brodie King.
That's right.
They're in a feud with OI4K and Callihan.
Right, and it went straight into the next match, right? Like, as they interfered and stopped the match, basically Sami Callihan and
Jessica
Havoc came out, and they went right into the next match, which was a hardcore battle. They were all over the place in that match. We actually we were standing room only. We stood on the hard camera side. And at one point there was this, it was funny because there was a lot of dives into the crowd. So the people kept moving. The chairs kept getting pushed further and further back to the point where by the time this match came up, they were in the crowd and like Brodie was telling people like to move. And we had nowhere to go. Like we literally could not physically move. He tossed Jessica into this row of chairs in front of us, and this like little Hispanic girl, she fell into my arms, and like I kind of felt bad, but like she got hit by the chairs and stuff, and he's like, I said to effing move, and I was like, Brodie, there's nowhere to go.
Yeah, dude, there are lots of dives into the crowd and people getting hit on both shows. Yeah, that was crazy. Brodie and Jimmy Jacobs ended up getting the win here.
Yeah.
And, the fans were really into Jessica Havoc, gave her kind of like a standing.
They were into this match.
Yeah.
They were really into this match.
And then we get, then with the intermission, and came back, and we had MJF, Maxwell Jacob Freeman against Colt Cabana.
Oh, this match was great. a lot of comedy. So I guess the storyline is that there's a paternity test, right?
Right, and that Colt Cabana is MJF's dad.
Like his biological father.
Right. And he's like, where have you been all this time then if you're my father? He's like, I've been wrestling around the world.
Yeah, so the crowd was really into this. They were doing like "Who's your daddy?" chants, and you are grounded. Daddy issues, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this young punk baby face heel in MJF, he's just playing it up like as much as he can. He's just being like a snickering, like sniveling heel.
Dude, I want to give props to MJF. Like I've been seeing him for the last year now in various indies. This guy is so good at doing the basics, and like he says, he doesn't need to do flips to get over, and it's so true.
His character work,
his character work, his
facials,
facials, and his in-ring technician stuff. Like he's so good. Like he's like tailor-made for WWE, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him, there the next couple of years. Like this guy is great.
Yeah, he's only been wrestling 3 years.
Yeah, I mean
that'd be like me after 3 months. No, but he's really good.
Yeah, he's a CZW world champion right now. He's the MLW middleweight champion. There's another title I saw him that he won, I think last night or sometime. So yeah, this guy's like racking up titles and just
he was good. And then him and he's a pretty versatile guy too. He can do a lot of different types of styles. And this match was clearly a comedy match. The highlight for me was at the end of the match, basically. Well, Colt they kept working for spots where Colt kept trying to go for a hug. Yeah. MJF didn't want to hug him. and then like you would think he's gonna like do a body slam or something, and then he would come in and give him a hug, and like MJF like as a a troubled child who like does have daddy issues, he's like looking around at the crowd because he doesn't know how to react to fatherly love from a positive, male role model. Like he doesn't know how to respond to it. So like at the end of the match, they both have weapons in hand, and MJF has what? He had a chair.
He had a chair, and then Colt had like the black sack. You think it's thumbtacks.
Yeah. So how did he even? I guess somehow like
Colt like ended up kicking the chair out of MJF's hands.
He disarmed him or something.
He went into flare mode on his knees and was begging off like, no, please don't pour attacks out. He dumps the bag out. It's 2 baseball gloves and a baseball. And then the crowd erupts and let's play catch. Yeah.
So then like MJF eventually like decides to do it, and then the DJ starts playing Cats in the Cradle and the Silver Spoon, and the whole entire crowd is like so into it. We're all just like singing the song,
waving, yeah.
And MJF tries to throw the ball, and he can't. He doesn't know how. This professional athlete doesn't know how to throw a baseball, because no one ever taught him.
Right. And so like Colt like comes over and like teaches him how to throw the ball.
And being the prodigy that he is, he figures it out pretty quickly, and then like he tosses it to Colt. Colt's like, yeah, and they're playing ball for a minute, and it's like this beautiful fatherly moment. Yeah. Cats in the Cradle and the Silver Spoon's playing, and the crowd's like erupting. Like it was like one of the moments of the night, as funny as it sounds. And then they're like holding each other, and like MJF's like giving the thumbs up, like yeah. And then he kicks Colt right in the nads, rolls him up, pulls the tights, 1, 2, 3, gets the F out of there.
Oh man.
So yeah, it was pretty entertaining, honestly. Yeah, like that's something that I don't think would work necessarily on a big stage, but for that kind of crowd, it did work.
Right. And then next we had the AAW Heavyweight Championship match. The champion Super ACH defending against Mr. Athletic Jeff Cobb.
That was a great match. That was a really, really, really good match. I don't have much to say about it. I think if you get a chance and you want a recommendation from the night, this was one of the matches of the night. It was very good. I mean, it was at least a 4-star affair, maybe more.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the story of the match. Cobb, the strong guy, ACH, a smaller kind of underdog babyface, had to work from behind the whole match. And
the one takeaway is that I saw a side of Jeff Cobb that obviously we know how talented he is, but it was like seeing Jeff Cobb have one of the best matches I've ever seen.
That is the best Jeff Cobb match I have seen.
Yeah, so I mean, he got to kind of show the goods in that match. Really, really good. And ACH ended up retaining.
And we heard like a new chant that we've never really heard before, where you have
the new champ, old champ.
Yeah, you have one guy go, new champ, old champ.
It was cool, but I kind of got old. But yeah, that was the whole match. The crowd was really into this, and then we ended up going to a Taco Bell cantina that night. And those guys who were doing that chant came in, and I was like, watch this, Jeremy. And I was like, old champ.
And they were like, new champ.
They were so into it, bro. Yeah. Like, they loved it.
But the old champ, ACH, did retain.
Yeah.
Beating Jeff Cobb with a brainbuster.
Oh, that was awesome brainbuster, too.
Yeah. Then we had the main event of the evening, the Lucha Brothers, Pentagon Jr. and Rey Fenix against Mexi Blood, which is Bandito and Flamita.
This match was a match of the weekend. It was as good as anything that was an All-In. It was so stellar. It was the best, like, luchador-based match I saw the whole weekend.
Yeah, I mean, both these guys, all four of these guys are just awesome, and all the dives, all the Hurricane Ranas,
the star
spots.
power.
Yes.
Just seeing kind of like Flamita and Bandito are kind of like becoming the new guys, the new, like, lucha guys on the indies scene. And then, Phoenix and Pentagon have been those guys for the last like 2 to 3 years or whatever. So it's kind of like, them kind of giving back and making a couple new guys, which was really cool. I mean, obviously, if you're in the know, you know who Flamita and Bandito are, but there's still a lot of people that don't.
Yeah, there are a lot of people who don't. Yeah, I've never seen them or heard of them.
Unless you're watching PWG or you're watching, like the indies over in like the Lucha indies, you might not know who these guys really are yet, but it does feel like they're just like a year or two away from being like Pentagon and Phoenix, basically.
Right. And Lucha Brothers get the win when Penta hit the Fear Factor package pile driver.
There was a lot of crazy stuff in that match too, where I thought the match was over. The near falls were great.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, it was really cool. I got to throw money in the ring.
Yeah.
Like I was in Tijuana or something, man. When they did that WrestleMania weekend, I didn't know what that was. Plus, I wasn't trying to give my money away. So, I didn't do that. But on this night, for that incredible match, I was like, oh, I'm going to do it. I threw it in there. It was great. A lot of people were really, really into that. This was a hot crowd the whole night. It didn't go overly long.
Yeah, show started on time, ended on time.
There was no bad matches either. It was one of the stronger like indie shows I've ever been to.
Yeah.
Really, really, really good.
And then we had the next night, defining moment in the same building with the same set of wrestlers, but
we are pleased to announce we got tickets for this show, by the way.
Oh yeah, shout out to our boy Abby the Butcher. He's a photographer. We actually met him WrestleMania weekend, and I didn't realize he was a guy I bought the tickets from for this Friday night show.
Yeah, I didn't know that that's who you bought them from. And then when he came up and said what's up, I was like Abby, what's up, bro? And he's like, hey, and I was like, wait, we bought tickets from you? He's like, yeah, man. And I was like, oh my god. He's like, you're the Strong Style guys, right? And I was like, yeah, bro. And he's like, oh my god, small world. And I was
let me buy you guys a drink.
He's like, let me get you guys a drink. We were like, heck yeah. Yeah, so it was really, really cool. Like, this crowd, before we kind of move on and talk about the show, like the AAW crowd, very different from like the StarCast crowd.
Yeah.
And not a lot of like crossover. Like we were talking to people and a lot of them were just like, we're like, do you guys go StarCast? Nope. You go StarCast? Nope. Like, obviously it's a more niche crowd. I mean, how many people are probably there? 250, 300?
Something around there.
Yes, it wasn't like a lot, but I mean, these were the same type of people that we see when we go and we travel. A lot of these fans, like, it's weird. Like, it's like being part of like, I don't know, it's like being part of like a, I don't know, like, they have like Deadheads for like the walk, or for the Grateful Dead and stuff like that. These different types of fans who are real inundated on certain products. Like these guys are like the smarkiest of smart crowds. These fans who came to All In and then went to the AAW shows, whereas like a lot of the StarCast crowd was more like, the general, just indie fan who might listen to Bruce and Conrad or what have you,
right.
But they don't necessarily go to like an AAW show. So very, very different feel at the AAW shows from what it was like at All In. Or even just over the whole weekend interacting with wrestling fans. Like this was a very niche crowd.
Right. So yeah, this Defining Moment show, it was not as good as the first night.
It wasn't even close.
Yeah.
It wasn't even close. And I feel bad because we wanted to be at the show so bad.
So badly. And then afterwards, I was like, yeah, we could have probably skipped out on this. I mean, we definitely could have done some stuff in Chicago that evening instead. But it's okay. I mean, we actually had a great day that day. That's when we did the touristy stuff. And right.
Made it over for the show and, did some cool stuff in Logan Square. And then, so then we made it to this Friday show. And I mean, what'd you think?
Yeah, man, it started late. ended late. Ended an hour late. Just and
bro, it's 4+ hours.
Yeah, and a lot of the matches just
flat.
Yeah,
a lot of flat. I don't know what happened either.
Yeah, it was pretty much like everything after the intermission, kind of like.
So we can, let's just run through this stuff.
Yeah, so the opening contest was Jake Something and Chris Stallion defeating AC Romero and Colt Cabana.
It was great seeing AC and Colt, open the match, but it was whatever. That match was just like a quick opener, 6 minutes or something, and then the heels went over.
And then we had probably the match of the night with Shane Swerve Strickland defeating Darby Allin. Both of these guys kind of like taking the top spot in like Evolve right now.
I would have really liked if they both had happened to have been on the night before.
Yeah.
That would have probably made
that night even better. Yeah.
Yeah, but Shane Strickland, Darby Allin was just an incredible match. Like, two guys I'm very high on right now.
Yeah. The crowd's really into that match.
In fact, that might even like killed the crowd because of how good that match was, and it was second,
Yeah.
After the crowd was going crazy for that match. And then,
then we had OVE, Jake and Dave Chris defeating Ace Austin and Brian Cage. So it was cool to see Brian Cage, but again, that match was kind of just like
it was throwaway. They were going through the numbers. I mean, they did a lot of like crazy dives, but it's just it was just there. That's what it was.
Then we had AR Fox and Myron Reed against defeating Flamita and Bandito.
So that was a match where I think you caught more of that than I did.
Yeah, so I mean, this was another good, probably the second best match after the Strickland Derby. All four of these guys just flying all over the place.
The one thing I do remember, it was very sloppy.
Yeah.
It was like really, they were doing a lot of really cool stuff, but you would kind of hope that they'd work together better, but it was just kind of all over the place. Like,
it seems like there was some miscommunication.
A lot.
Between those four guys.
Yeah.
But it's still
still a good match.
Yeah. Then it went to intermission and came back with MJF going against Marco Stunt, defeating Marco Stunt.
Yeah, that was my first time actually seeing Marco Stunt. I know there's a lot of people that are really big fans of this kid. I'm just gonna say I'm not really a fan. I get the gimmick. I get it. I understand it. So it's not like, the reason I don't like him is I can't take him seriously. He's too small. And I don't feel bad about saying that. It's not judgmental. It's the same reason why I don't really like El Torito. He's too small, stuff like that, But there are people that are fans of him, and there are people that are fans of a lot of stuff in wrestling that I'm not necessarily a fan of. In this match, I did not take it seriously at all. Seeing MJF sell for him was kind of ridiculous. Also, they started the match, and he said that the premise of the match was basically that Marco had told MJF that he
slept with his mom.
He's like, I effed your mom last night. And so the whole night, the whole crowd just talking about Marco banging his mom.
And then they were like, 2 dads.
Yeah, you got two
dads.
You had 2 dads, which was funny, and I get it. But at the same time, and hey, Marco is actually pretty impressive athletically with what he can do. But for him to be so over for being able to do those things, I'm like, there's a lot of guys that are much better at that stuff. And I'm sure he's a young guy, right?
I think he's in mid-20s.
Yeah, how long has he been wrestling? Probably not that long.
I'm not sure yet.
So he'll probably get better, but I just I can't take him seriously. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm like those. Do you remember that video that we listened to with all those fans from the 2000s running down the Japanese wrestlers?
Yeah.
And running down all the luchadors and cruiserweights on Wrestling Observer. Maybe that's me right now. I don't know. Maybe I'm just ignorant. But I just don't take it seriously. I don't think it's presented as a serious thing either. It's a joke.
Yeah, I think it is supposed to be a joke, and even the appearance that got him kind of blown up was at Joey Janela's Lost in New York.
Yeah,
where they had open challenge, he jumped out of the crowd, and it's kind of this what the heck is happening right now thing.
Hey, if the kid can get over and he can make money, God bless him. But I'm not a fan.
Yeah, so MJF defeated him. Then next we have the match that truly killed the crowd. Sami Callihan defeating Jimmy Jacobs in a grudge match.
Ooh, yeah. So this was actually the talking point of the night and probably the talking point of the weekend with AAW. I mean, take us through it, Jeremy.
So pretty much these guys, they're brawling all over the auditorium. diving, weapons. And at one point, they're up on the stage, and Sami Callihan is throwing chairs, not folding chairs, just like regular chairs.
And just so it makes sense, you guys have to see this auditorium. It's an awesome venue. Very similar, like, in some ways to, like, kind of remind me of, like, the Elk Lodge, but nicer. You know, like, Logan Square Auditorium for, like, a little indie show like AAW. It's a great ambiance. Like, I was like, this is one of the coolest, like, little indie shows I've ever been to. But it is like, it's a wedding venue basically, you know, or like a concert hall. And so when you walk in, you're facing a stage. So they had fans, you know, seated on that stage, and then they got the ring on the ballroom floor basically, which is where we're standing. And then behind us, there's like a balcony essentially. Right. So it's a multi-purpose space. But yeah, they're fighting up on what would essentially be like a...
Like if a band was playing.
Like if a band was playing up there, they're just elevated above the rest of us. They're on a stage, just like if you were like at a concert auditorium. And yeah, so they started like what, throwing chairs?
Yeah, so these are like not your normal like, you know, metal folding chairs. These are like the plasticky, well not plastic, but like just a regular chair.
They're like metal frame with the cushions and the pads. Yeah, they didn't fold.
So Callahan's like throwing a bunch of these chairs onto Jimmy Jacobs, and the next thing you know,
they're doing that whole gimmick. Like they do that in WWE all the time. You know, they just bury a guy under a bunch of crap.
Right.
Or like Suzuki does it. You know, you put the guardrail and you hit him with the chairs.
Right.
That's basically what Callahan was doing.
And the next thing you know, over the loudspeakers, you hear, "Hey asshole, stop breaking our chairs." And we're like, what's happening?
Yeah, I was so confused.
He's like, really? I mean it. Stop breaking our chairs. This is not part of your wrestling show.
Yeah, he's like, it's not part of your little wrestling show. And I was like, what in the world? I thought it was work.
So, and he's like, he's like, I'm serious. Like, if you break the chairs, you're gonna pay for them.
He's like, we're charging you at the end of the night.
Yeah.
And then I look behind us, and it's the bartender, like the little skinny punk kid who is like serving drinks at the bar. He's in the sound booth behind us, like, and he's like dead serious, like, and like I'm just thinking to myself, like, you know, there's got to be a better way to handle that situation,
right?
You know,
well. This is not the first time they've booked AAW in this venue.
Or wrestling in general, because we talked to wrestlers at Pro Wrestling Tees. What's that company? That
Freelance.
Yeah, Freelance runs the same auditorium all the time. You actually met a kid. You ran into a Freelance.
Yeah. Matt Nix. Shout out to Matt Nix.
You guys used to kind of run in the same circles, right?
Yeah, the Global Backyard Wrestling Network. The kind of the NWA for backyard wrestling back in the day.
We should start that back up like we're Billy Corgan.
Oh my gosh.
What's it called? The Backyard Wrestling?
The Global Backyard Wrestling Network.
Global Backyard Wrestling Network. That's a lot of initials.
GBYWN.
GBYWN. Okay. We need to get the GB. Is there a GBYWN like world champion?
There was. I don't know who the last champion was or who has the belt now.
That needs to be on the next All In show. Seriously, like we need to buy that and cash in. That's that. I'm gonna call Cody and the Bucks. Tell him about it.
Matt Nix versus John Duras for the GBYWN.
We're gonna merge it into the NWA title. Add prestige and allure to a dwindling title. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so
yeah, you know what you get when you're booking wrestling in there, and like
especially like we talked to fans and they said that it's not the first time they've run a street fight in Chicago at that venue.
Right,
it happens all the time. I don't know, like what were your thoughts with this? So
it kind of like, I mean the match was already killing the crowd.
The match sucked,
but that kind of ruined the vibe more. It's like. Why would you do just wait until after the show and settle it there? Because
you got a guy who, you know, wrestling obviously is, we're breaking kayfabe here, but obviously a lot of times it's not a lot of times. Okay, I'm trying to protect kayfabe and also talk transparently here. Like right. It's predetermined. It's a work. Okay, it's a work. Obviously, we all know that it's a work, but. You don't act like it's a work when you're watching it. Just like you don't act like, you know, Thor isn't a real guy, you know, when you're watching Avengers, a Marvel movie. Yeah. That ruins it. But it's even more so because it's live action performance. You know, it's sports entertainment. And you have a guy who kind of lives his gimmick in Sami Callihan. So, you know what I mean? Like, you got a guy who's, literally hitting another dude in the head with a metal spike earlier in the match. Right. And then you want to tell him, hey, asshole, stop hitting that dude with a chair. What do you think that dude who's trying to maintain this character and believability and authenticity to the performance that he's doing, is going to do to you for saying something like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, there is a way to handle this. But yeah, so
the crowd was like, yeah, break those chairs, break those chairs.
The crowd got excited. It was like being at ECW, you know, like they were like, break the effing chairs.
Yeah.
Break the effing chairs. And then, you know, Sami like did start breaking chairs a little bit, like at first.
Right. And then cause it was kind of hard to see some parts because, you know, they're blowing over, but apparently the security guard like came over to Sami and Sami thought it was like an AAW young boy and like gave him like a working punch.
Did he?
That's what I was heard on the Observer.
I don't know. I don't think that happened.
Well, Uncle Dave and Alvarez, they were on the balcony and could see better than we could.
Really?
And they said that apparently he thought the security guy was like an AAW.
When did that happen? When they were in the ring or before they got back in the ring?
Before they got back in the ring.
So, okay, so I'll just run through what I thought happened. They did the spot with the, you know, that we talked about. The kid tells them not to break the chairs. They kind of keep working. They make their way back into the ring. Sami keeps putting chairs in the ring, pretending like he's going to break them, but he's not actually doing that. And then the AAW guys and the security guys start trying to take chairs out of the ring. They work to the finish. And then after they work to the finish, Sami stands, you know, on the edge of the ring, does the thumbs up, thumbs down, and looks to the bartender. I don't know what happens next, but all I see is security freaking out and trying to basically attack Sami Callihan.
Right.
Jessica Havoc runs out there. All of a sudden, all these other
OVE runs out.
OVE runs out, and then the crowd's like freaking out, and it felt like it was about to be a riot, like for real. Yeah. Like I was like, dude, like I was like in fight or flight mode. I was like, what are we gonna have to do?
We're about to run out of here.
Yeah, I was like, what are we gonna have to do right now? Like this feels like something's about to go down, and then luckily nothing did. Did you see something different than what I just described?
That's pretty much what I saw. I did not see Sami do the working punch on a security guard, but
I didn't see security even get close to him before, because that doesn't make sense to me. So here's why it doesn't make sense to me. Okay, so they're on the stage, they get told to stop. Security comes up, he does a working punch, and then the security guard sells it, and then the match goes on for another 5 minutes. That doesn't sound right to me.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe how Dave explained it was not quite right. I'm not sure, but the big thing was the security guard had like the flash, like reached in his back pocket. Like,
yeah, that's something that I didn't hear from anyone that we talked to at the show that someone got punched. I did hear that Dave said that on his show, and it could have very well happened. Maybe, you know, like you said, we might have missed it, but the timing of that doesn't make sense. The only time it might have seemed like maybe he did it was at the end of the match.
Right.
And it wouldn't have been a working punch because Sami was like
pissed off. Yeah.
Him and that there's a Hispanic security guard, and that guy to me seemed like he was really you know, escalating the situation.
Right, yeah.
And you know what? I heard that Logan Square Auditorium wanted Sami out of the building, basically. So they might have been trying to like kick him out, and he didn't know what was going on or whatever.
Right.
But I don't know, man. This is just my take on it. I've been to a lot of indie shows. You have too. Have you ever seen anything like this when guys are breaking stuff?
Yeah, we see them break stuff all the time.
Have you ever seen the venue like try to out wrestling in front of everybody like that?
No.
Never seen that. We've talked to promoters. We've talked to wrestlers. What usually happens? They get charged.
Right.
It's not a big deal. You know what I mean? Especially since this company came in, charged pretty good, they had a pretty high charge for these tickets on a busy weekend. They sold out both shows for this venue. And then, if they did hypothetically, quote unquote, and to me, it didn't look like they're breaking the chairs in the first place.
They weren't.
Those chairs are sturdy as heck.
Yeah.
Like, those chairs were not.
They weren't like the steel folding chairs.
Those chairs were not breaking. But
right.
Even if they did get, like, dinged or whatever, and you want to charge them for it, guess what? That's what promoters do or that's what venues do to promoters all the time. They just charge them. You don't like literally interrupt I understand like we're in a wrestling fan state of mind here, but even just for business, it's not really that big a deal. They're just chairs. You charge the guy, you buy some more, you're making money. What's the problem?
Right.
Why literally like threaten a dude's life with a gun over some metal chairs? That doesn't make sense. Like that doesn't seem like an appropriate response in my opinion. I don't know. Am I wrong here?
No,
Being a mark?
No, I think wait till the end of the night. Say, hey, AAW, like we're charging you extra XYZ to replace these chairs. So
this was the moment of the whole weekend. So in a way, it was kind of good we were there. I didn't see anyone get punched by Sami. I'll just say that.
Right.
I do think Sami was crazy enough to attack them, but Jessica Havoc was in between him and the guards the whole time.
Right.
For a while, I thought that this was a work though, just because it's wrestling and it seemed so good. I was like, but it didn't seem like it was leading to anything. And then eventually, I did go by the bar because I had to sit down on a stool because we were standing for so long, and I was like, I need a break because my back was killing me. And I did overhear the meeting that was going on with the security guards over by the bar in a back office building. I'm probably the only person that heard it. Like, it was kind of like just perfect timing. And I can tell you this was not a work. This was a shoot. Yeah, they were heated in there. Also, what was funny, one of the security guards, they couldn't find him when this all happened. And he was in the meeting and they were chewing him out because basically they were like radioing him, and they're like, where were you? And like, he was doing something shady. I don't know, because he wasn't there. So yeah, this was a real like incident. And then Sami and OVE like got kicked out of the building, and then AAW they almost lost the venue that night. We thought they did actually.
Yeah. So yeah, that was that. Then the next match, we had the AAW tag titles on the line.
To a dead crowd.
Yeah, the new champs wrestling, represented by Eddie Kingston and Jeff Cobb, with Trevor Lee, defeated the besties in the world with Scarlett Bordeaux.
Oh, that's right. They kind of stole the titles the night before, and then they had the return match the next night. Also, let's just say before we move on, I know we've said it, but I just want to really emphasize that like hardcore match that happened right before that sucked. It really sucked.
Yeah, and the crowd was dead.
It took a show that was like had some ups and downs and just kind of literally killed it.
Yeah. And so yeah, Eddie Kingston and Jeff Cobb retained the titles here. Story of this match: besties in the world had some miscommunication. They were on the same page.
It seems like it's all about Scarlett Bordeaux.
Yeah,
they're having troubles because of her and the other dude's relationship, I guess.
Yeah, and so she ended up eating a super kick from one of the besties on accident. He didn't care about it. The other bestie had to like take her out, and so it ended up being 2-on-1, and Cobb and Kingston retained. But the pop of the night though was Scarlett hitting a Canadian destroyer on Trevor Lee in this match.
Hey, she's hot. She can wrestle.
And then the main event was the AAW Championship matchup with ACH defending against Brodie King.
Was that the main event?
Yep. Brodie King defeats ACH to become the new champion.
Oh my god, yeah. So by the time this match happened, we were already well over like almost 3.5 hours into the show, which was supposed to only be 3 hours, and they started, half an hour over the runtime.
Yeah.
And it was a long match. It was like and the other thing too, and I'm not just saying this, it wasn't just that it was long. They never really did get the crowd back. Like, the crowd was invested in the finish, but the crowd was never fully there because the match was, I don't know what was going on. There was
Fun fact, Brodie King got a concussion at the beginning of the match.
Oh, did he?
Yep.
Where did you find that out?
On Observer.
That makes a lot of sense, because remember we were talking about it, and I was like, why was there so many miscommunications? Like,
yeah.
Also, it seemed like ACH was potatoing him like all night, like he was pissed or something. So it was also kind of weird. Like, you could tell there was something was off.
Yeah, so Brodie King had a concussion at the beginning of the match. He doesn't remember the match at all. He just, like, next thing you know, he has the championship. He doesn't remember the match at all.
Well, hats off to him then for putting in a pretty good performance in a mediocre match.
Yeah. So
the match was okay, but so he ended up winning. This was a very similar feeling to like when we were at WrestleMania weekend. We were at Joey Janela's Spring Break, and as great as that show was, and that show is much better than this, it went too long.
Yeah.
And you leave pissed. Like, when you leave a show and it doesn't end on a good note and it went too long and then they keep going long, like, it's too much, man. It's too much. Yeah, so I was disappointed with this night. There was very few, like, the high point was like Shane Strickland and
Darby
Allin. Everything else I probably could have really done without.
Yeah.
So, but we were there to see a near riot, so that was cool.
Yeah, so yeah, AAW, first night was great, second night not so much, but still got to see a lot of great guys, a lot of great matches, and got to see a new AAW champion. I'm kind of curious if this means ACH is signing somewhere, because he's been the champion for AAW for the last few months. So I'm wondering if potentially he's going somewhere.
Maybe not. I mean, Brodie King has, in a way, more upside. He's kind of like the new guy on the block. A lot of places are pushing him, so I feel like that's probably more so what it has to do with. And rightly so. They're both awesome, but Brodie King is awesome.
Yeah. All right, so that wraps up AAW. Then, of course, Saturday, the whole reason why we were there, All In.
Yeah, so we got to hang out with fellow Social Suplex, writers and podcasters. We got to hang out with Jordan Fox of the, what's his show?
From the Indie Wrestling Podcast, I believe it's called now.
Yeah.
And then we had Kyle Morris, who's on the Outsider's Edge on Social Suplex.
So, yeah, we got to hang out with those guys that day and, do some cool stuff. And then, yeah, we went to All In, the biggest independent pro wrestling show in the history of mankind. It's awesome.
Yeah, man, the atmosphere, man, was just amazing.
Well, you went in before I did. I had some stuff going on, so I was outside the arena. But what was it like when you first walked in?
First walk in and just like seeing, thousands of black shirts, just looking around, and then, Kyle and I grabbed a beer, and then just walking around like, oh, let's check out the merch line.
So long.
Dude, the merch line was so long. Like, you couldn't even walk around it to see and go to the table. So I was like, oh yeah, maybe I'll come back to it later.
It was literally around the whole arena.
And there was only 2 merch spots.
Yeah. And they were touching.
Yeah.
Like literally they started on opposite ends of the building, and then the lines converged in the middle. And I was like, oh my, what is happening here?
And apparently people, because the doors opened at 3, the majority of the people got there at 3:30. We got there at 4. And at 3:30, at 4, most of the shirt sizes were running out.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then,
I mean, luckily I wasn't trying to really buy any merch.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to look and see if there's anything interesting, but whatever. Got to the seats. We had great seats.
We had awesome seats. Fun fact, so I was outside in the middle of a phone call, and I'm just hanging out, making a phone call, getting ready. I'm like, I'm going to go in a minute, and then all of a sudden I'm like, that's John Mayer. and I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm a musician and I'm a guitarist, and the reason I became a guitarist because I like John Mayer. I really like John Mayer a lot. I don't know how to describe this to you guys.
You're a mark.
I'm a mark for John Mayer. And I was talking to a lady friend of mine. Yeah. Okay. And I was like, John Mayer's walking past me right now. And she's like, shut up, you're lying. And I was like, no, he's literally walking past me right now. And she's like, you're lying. And I was like, should I say something to him? She's like, hang up this phone right now and go say something. And I was like, I don't think I should. And she's like, when are you gonna ever see this dude again? I was like, oh my god. So I was like, all right. I hung up and I'm running over there, and I hear him talking to this girl, and she's like, you like pro wrestling? He's like, I love pro wrestling. And I was like, hey, John, sorry to bother you, da-da-da. But anyways, long story short, he was real cool. He was short on time, but real cool guy. And, we took a photo together. That was cool. And, I got to meet John Mayer. And I was like, what are the chances that I'm, at All In and I run into,
John Mayer, yeah.
Man, I heard Macaulay Culkin was
yeah, dude. Apparently there were a lot of celebrities and, football players that were there.
He was the only one that I saw, but that was pretty cool. And then I was like, all right, great. I just met one of my all-time heroes, and now I'm gonna go watch the greatest indie show of all time. And as soon as I walk in, the crowd is just like, all in, all in, and it's almost a full entire arena shouting in unison, all in. And I was like, I got chills, bro. I was like, what is this?
Dude, yeah, this was special.
Yeah. So just the atmosphere was awesome, the vibe, the fans. It was just such a positive experience.
Yeah, and we were sitting next to 2 dudes, and he was like, where are you guys from? From Florida. He's like, what? You guys came all the way from Florida? I was like, yeah, man. And I was talking to them, and it's talking about all the people they've met from different states. And he couldn't believe how many different states are here. I was like, yeah, man.
Yeah, it's really crazy how many traveling fans were willing to come out for this particular event. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, the historic event, man. It's it's like a once in a lifetime kind of moment here. Like a change in the
It literally did feel like that, and I mean it probably is. Like no matter what ends up happening after this is all over, whether this was a one-off, whether it ever happens again, I don't know. But this is a show that will be looked on fondly from a historical standpoint. Like 20 years from now, people will still be talking about All In.
Definitely. And so the show kicked off with the two 0-hour matches, which was on WGN America.
Yeah.
The opening contest was SCU.
And it was scheduled for one fall. No, but what was awesome was we're at a pre-show. And all 10,000 people are in their seats. Like, it's the main show.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I can remember the last time that a WWE show was like that, except for, like, maybe this year's WrestleMania. And even that wasn't really quite like this.
Yeah.
This was like, it was the pre-show, quote-unquote, but it was part of the show for us.
Right, yeah.
Like, you did not want to... What they put on the pre-show, nobody wanted to miss.
Right. And so, yeah, you had SCU taking on the Briscoes. It was Kazarian and Scorpio Sky came out with their, Rocky gear on.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about it too much on the show, but they'd been doing vignettes, with them training for All In, and they were doing, like, the Rocky 3 stuff, which is just so hilarious. And, they came out. Freaking Scorpio Sky was dressed like Apollo Creed.
Yeah.
And... Frankie Kazarian was dressed like Rocky Balboa, and I was like, that's awesome. Like, a lot of guys had altered, like, special one-time, like, attire and gear for this event, which was awesome like that.
Yeah, and of course we got big SCU chants.
Dude, SCU was so over this week. It felt like, so this year at WrestleMania, one of the most over things was, like, Rusev Day.
Yeah.
Like, that was huge. But, like, this week... Everywhere you went, it was like...
Dude, you'd be like walking through the hotel, SCU!
Yeah, bro. You'd be walking in Chicago, people would be like, SCU!
We saw a guy wearing an SCU shirt. We walked up to him, we're like, this is the worst town that we've ever been in.
Yeah.
SCU!
Him and his girlfriend loved it, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. So that was really funny. But yeah, SCU was super, super over this week. Like, I kind of didn't realize how big this thing is.
The power of being the elite, man.
It really does show you the power of being the elite. So they had a really good opener with the Briscoes. Man, the Briscoes are just good, bro.
Yeah, I know people don't like them because of some of their
gimmick.
Their gimmick and their personal stance on stuff.
And all that, but, like, at the end of the day, when you talk about, like, elite tag teams of all time, they're right up there with anybody.
Yeah.
You can name any tag team, and the Briscoes are right there with them. Still, to this day.
Yeah.
So, and then when you see them live, every time I've seen them live, I'm like, you don't hear so much about these guys, but they're just really good.
Yeah, they are really good. And SCU got the win here. They defeated the Briscoes. It was Kaz hit a Spanish fly for the finish. And, crowd was excited. SCU got the big win here.
Yeah, so I was excited to see SCU get the first opening victory. I thought it was a great way to kind of showcase, like I said, the Briscoes. As it is interesting though. You do wonder, since they beat the Ring of Honor, World Tag Team Champions, is that gonna?
Well, they already have a title match.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, but it's Daniels and Kazarian at Death Before Dishonor. That match was already made before this match.
Well, that would have been good for you to let me know that before we came on that.
Sorry.
No, I'm just playing. But yeah, no, so that's great. Yeah, so this was a really good opening match. The fans were really into it. I think the fans were just happy to see SCU win. Yeah. In general. So that was cool.
Yeah, so then next we had the Over the Budget Battle Royal. With just tons of people in there. I'm trying to see if I can find a list
of who was in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this was this Battle Royal, I will say this. One of the best Battle Royals I've ever seen.
Yeah, definitely. Most Battle Royals are just kind of like,
I mean, you know what you're getting with the Battle Royal. They're clusters. You're just getting a bunch of guys clubbing each other, and there's some spots and stuff like that, but it's not generally like a good match. this was like one of the perfectly worked indie like battle royals I've ever seen. I actually heard that, like, who was it that booked this? It was BJ Whitmer, Bubba Ray Dudley, and Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah.
They just laid out like a perfect match, man. Everybody that was in there got shine. Everybody that was in there had a
they
purpose.
all hit their signature spots.
There was just so many things where I was like, wow, this battle royal is really, really, really good.
So we had Moose, Brandon Cutler, Trent Beretta, Chucky T, Rocky Romero, Cheeseburger, Hurricane, Ethan Page, Tommy Dreamer, Jimmy Jacobs, Punishment Martinez, Austin Gunn, Billy Gunn, Marco Stunt, Brian Cage, Jordan Grace, Colt Cabana, Bully Ray, and Chico El Luchador.
Yeah, so I mean, I didn't realize that quote unquote Chico El Luchador was going to be in this as well as Rocky Romero.
Right, that was like, I was like, wait a minute, Chico and Rocky are there. I'm like, somebody else is Chico.
I actually didn't even realize. So I didn't realize that they'd both been in there until like way later in the match. Mm-hmm. Like, it just didn't connect for me.
Yeah, as soon as they came out, I was like...
So, I mean, one of the things that happens early on, the match starts, and so everyone's out there, and then Bully Ray comes out after everybody else, and I was like, oh my God. Because Bully Ray is, like, one of those heels that I actually legit hate.
Yeah.
He's so good at being a heel that I just freaking hate him. I don't even want to, like, really watch him, but he's great, like, in a bad way. Like, he's so good at being a heel that, like...
Yeah.
That you hate him, and then when he showed up, and they hadn't announced him, I don't think at all prior to that, right?
No.
So yeah, and that's such a Ring of Honor like type of thing to do, to like have Bully Ray just show up in a match with, given the storylines of what's been going on. I mean, you know,
right?
So he comes out, and you know what happened basically with Chico.
So he came out, he powerbombed Chico through a table. Then everybody rushed to the ring. The battle royal started.
Right.
A lot of great spots. Jordan Grace had a lot of great shine in that match. Squatting Brian Cage and just doing some big power moves in there.
Just did a dive,
yeah,
stuff like that.
I think she eventually eliminated Cage.
I think almost literally every single wrestler in there got like a great spot.
Hurricane got to hit his choke slam spots.
Best friends got to hug it out.
Yeah,
all sorts of stuff. I mean, Billy Gunn got a bunch of stuff in. So
and his son looked good too. Austin Gunn looked pretty good. I mean, I don't really know much about him.
He's alright. But yeah, I mean, it was real entertaining. And then eventually it came down to Tommy Dreamer,
Brian Cage, Jordan Grace, and
Colt
Bully
Cabana.
Ray.
Colt Cabana was there at the end, I think, and Bully Ray.
Yeah,
and she ended up. Jordan Grace ended up throwing Brian Cage out. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember what happened here.
So Grace gets eliminated. She eliminates Cage. And then Bully comes face to face with her. He rakes her eyes, takes her up, and it's getting ready to do something. Then Cabana comes up there. Grace dumps Bully and hits the What's Up headbutt, the Dudley What's Up headbutt. But then Bully eventually tosses her, and then it comes down to Bully and Cabana. And then Bully eliminates Cabana. And so everybody thinks, that Bully Ray wins, but, Chico's been on the floor the whole time.
Right.
So Chico comes in the ring.
And I think you thought, like, Bully was done, right? And then I was like, Chico.
No, I thought Chico was going to get him back in there. I was just curious who Chico was.
Right.
Because at first it looked like it was a little too small to be Flip Gordon.
I thought so, too.
And then he came in and, like, ripped the mask off, and it was Flip. Big pop. Monstrous Road Warrior pop.
Huge pop.
For Flip Gordon. Takes the mask off and eliminates his Ring of Honor rival, Bully Ray. And Flip is finally all in.
Dude, when Flip won the match, like, people freaked out for Flip Gordon.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because I've been in a lot of crowds where the Flip, like, receptions have been very mixed.
Yeah. Very,
very, very mixed. But this crowd, being the elite fan type of crowd, plus the way they just curated that moment, Flip was super over. I mean, I'm not even being facetious when I say it's like one of the 2 or 3 loudest pops of the whole entire night.
Yeah.
Like, it was huge.
They worked us pretty good to make sure that, like, Flip, to make us think Flip wasn't going to be on the thing. You had the Flip all-out party. He was supposed to be hosting the viewing party. So, yeah.
Yeah, so Flip ends up winning that match. And I will say this, like for because you watched this when we got home, right? The entire thing. Did on Honor Club, they don't have the pre-show, right?
No.
And I don't think they do on New Japan World either, which this show is up on New Japan World now too. So I think the only way you could have watched this was on WGN America.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if there's any way to catch a replay, if it's on like Fight TV or no.
I'm not sure. I'll have to do some research and see.
I don't think it is. I think it was just exclusive for WGN America, and there's no other way to see it.
If I were them, I would see if they could put it on their YouTube afterwards. I know usually sometimes you have to wait like a week or something like that.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, so this was just awesome. This was awesome, and it set up Flip versus Jay Lethal for later in the night.
Yep. So then we get like the warning, don't steal this pay-per-view, and that got a pop.
That got a huge pop.
Because like people were like super excited, like this is actually happening. Like,
it's a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
You don't get that with WWE anymore, I don't think, right? Like they don't do like the whole like warning. This is
right. It's because it's on the network.
Right. So with this, like I think it was like the nostalgia for a lot of older fans. When you see that, you know that this is going to be a big show. When I saw it, I was like, hey, like oh wow, like yeah, like this is a pay-per-view. Also, before the actual show started, with the thing with Road Warrior Animal, did that happen? That didn't happen on the pay-per-view.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, so they did like an opening for the whole entire show, and they brought out Road Warrior Animal.
Oh yeah,
and he got a huge reception.
Came out on the bike.
Yeah, he came out on the bike.
He had the spikes on, the face paint.
You know, I've got friends who are like always talking about how Young Bucks are the greatest tag team of all time, and they don't hold a candle to the Road Warriors, but there's a reason they call it the Road Warrior Pop, brother. Because it was big. Yeah. And yeah, it was just cool being in Chicago, seeing Animal. And then along with that, like, I don't know what I was going to say. Well, they did what? So the show started, we got America the Beautiful, or no, the National Anthem.
Mm-hmm. And then kicked off, we had the opening contest. MJF, Maxwell Jacob Freeman, taking on Matt Cross, M-Dog 20, also known as Son of Havoc from Lucha Underground.
This was interesting because both of these guys were announced for the show, but neither of them, we didn't know what match they were going to be in, essentially.
Right. I thought they were just going to end up being in the Battle Royal.
Same.
But yeah, ended up being a match, one-on-one match here.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. So before the show officially started, they started running through the graphics of the show. And
the matches, yeah.
Of the matches. And the way they started doing it was in order. So when they did that, I know I've come on here in previous weeks and talked about how some of these matches just seemed like the card just seemed a little bit underwhelming to me. You know what I mean? On paper. Mm-hmm. And I think part of it is just because we go to these indie shows, like, across the country and stuff, and sometimes the matches that we saw here are definitely things you could see on an indie show. And I was like, this doesn't scream like SummerSlam to me. It doesn't scream like, Super Card. You know what I mean? But then when they started showing us the order, and you're in the arena, and you're seeing the pyro, and you're seeing the stage, and the LED, and the big production, and then all of a sudden it starts popping up, and I started realizing, like, what order they were doing these matches in. The whole entire card just became larger than life, and then I realized, like, I was wrong the whole time. This show is huge. Like, this show is awesome. And, I got so hyped for this card. Just watching the graphics pop up.
Yeah. So, man, yeah. Dude, everything with the production, the graphics, the whole stage, everything just looked great and felt epic the whole night.
Our seats, like you said, were great. Like, we had, I think everyone had pretty much great seats, but being on that first level, perfect. Like, we could see everything.
So MJF and Matt Cross here. We've talked about MJF, the AAW shows. He's top heel guy that's, getting over all over the indies. Matt Cross has been wrestling for a long time now, but a lot of people really don't know him as Matt Cross.
Right.
More people actually know him as Son of Havoc from Lucha Underground.
He's Matt Capitelli, right?
No.
Oh, what am I thinking? Matt Capitelli just passed away. That's wrong.
Yeah.
Matt Cross, was Matt Cross on Tough Enough?
Yes, he was on Tough Enough.
He was, wasn't he?
Right.
Okay. I'm just thinking, I'm not crazy here, right? I remember him on Tough Enough.
Yeah, he's on Tough Enough.
But it was like, what, season 2 or season 3?
I want to say it was season 30, I believe.
Okay, but he was part of it.
Yes.
But he's been wrestling for a long time.
Yeah. And he's a great wrestler. I don't know why he's not featured on like bigger companies and just been doing like local indies. I mean,
he's been part of Lucha Underground.
Right.
They had those exclusive contracts for
even before Lucha Underground. Right. Yeah. And even on Lucha Underground, they got
he's a small guy.
Right. And they got a hood on him, and he's Son of Havoc.
But I think part of it is he's a small guy.
Yeah.
And the other thing, too, is like, you bring him out as Matt Cross. People don't know him, but you create a new character. A lot of the guys they brought in the early stages had, like, characters, you know?
Right, yeah.
Same thing with, like, Ricochet.
Yeah, Prince Puma and Shane Strickland was Killshot.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, so I mean, this was a good opening matchup. Probably the perfect match to open the show up here.
It was good. Kind of the crowd was into it. It was not like a super lively crowd. I think a lot of people didn't know who either guy was.
Right.
Still, but
MJF was good at getting heat.
MJF did a great job of getting heat, and Matt Cross played a great babyface. He was flying all over the arena, just doing all sorts of high-flying stuff. So it was a good opener for sure.
Yeah, Matt Cross hit his signature shooting star press for the win.
I was a little surprised. I kind of thought that they would maybe highlight MJF because he was the younger guy.
Yeah.
But like you said, I mean, Matt Cross has been in the industry for a long time, and I think he's a Chicago native too. Or is it just MJF? I know MJF is.
Yeah, I think Cross is from California.
Okay.
I think he's like friends with the Young Bucks and stuff.
Gotcha. But yeah, they gave him a little bit of shine and started the show out with a happy note, which was cool.
Yep. Then we had Sean Mooney interviewing Nick Aldis.
Sean Mooney got like a big chant from the crowd, which is kind of weird.
Yeah. So he interviews Nick Aldis about the title match with Cody later. And then we go to Stephen Amell taking on Christopher Daniels. Both guys are super over.
This was super interesting. Super, super interesting. The one thing I will say, so usually when we go to shows, I'm very restless. And so lots of times I will be watching a show and I'll just go here, go there, go get a drink, go to the bathroom, take a phone call. It just depends. Like, I do lots of different stuff when we're watching a show. This show, like, nobody was, like, leaving, bro.
Yeah.
Like, everyone was just sitting in their chairs just, like, super attentive, like, the whole entire time. And then I did get up after for the only time I got up during the whole show was at the end of the first match, and I was like, I need to go get some caffeine. So I went and got a soda, which I don't even really drink soda, but I went and got a Mountain Dew. There was no line because there was no one out there. There were some people at the merch, but that's all it was.
Yeah.
I went, grabbed my drink, took 2 seconds. I came right back. I was back in time for the match to start.
Right, yeah.
I was like, what is going on, bro? When you usually go to a big arena show, there's people everywhere talking, hanging out in the lobby, taking pictures, buying stuff. Dude, it was like a wasteland out there. And it just kind of showed me like how hungry these fans were for this type of wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, very, very different vibe than any live show I've ever been to.
Yeah, so we get Stephen Amell versus Christopher Daniels with Jerry Lynn, the new reffin' show, as the referee.
Right.
He got a big pop. All three of these guys got big pops. A lot of, arrow chants.
I love this match.
Yeah, I mean, Stephen Amell looked really good for a guy that's only had, I think, he only had 2 other matches before this. And so, yeah, I mean, he looked really good in there, and he was in there with Christopher Daniels, a ring general that could guide him through the match. And the only thing here, it did look like Amell kind of blew up.
Oh, he definitely did. I mean, how did it come across? You watched it on the broadcast. How did it look?
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely felt like he blew up and was like trying his best. Like,
did it look as obvious?
I don't think it looked as obvious.
But when we were in the crowd,
yeah,
you could tell. Like, you were like, oh my god, this dude has nothing left. Like, the first 3 or 4 minutes, Steven is moving like he's a trained pro wrestler, and you're like, wow, this guy's impressive. He's moving better than most most celebrity wrestlers do.
Right.
But after like 4 or 5 minutes, maybe even shorter than that, he was just dead. And we were having such a great time just laughing because every time we saw him do a move, we could see how labored it was. And that Christopher Daniels was literally like heaving him up because he was having trouble just standing, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I'm surprised he made it through the match, bro. He looked like he was going to die.
And then there was the table spot. He pulled a table out, and eventually he went on the table, and or he put Daniels on the table.
They had to work spot to spot to spot.
Yeah.
After he got tired, they couldn't work a sustained pace. It would just be like big spot, some stuff, spot, fluff. But it was still very, very entertaining. I do think it went a little too long.
Yeah.
They probably could have cut this match down a little bit, but I think that they succeeded in having what I would consider to be the greatest, celebrity wrestling match of all time.
Yeah, I mean, that table spot,
Dude, Amel, when he went through that table, the way the board broke, it like slapped him right up in the head. I was like, oh my God, this dude's trying to kill himself out here.
And then there was, Jerry Lynn. After that spot, Jerry Lynn threw both guys back in the ring because he didn't want to end an count out.
That's totally unprofessional.
And then, Daniels was getting...
The Bucks need to be, addressed about this. Or, someone needs to talk to the Chicago State Athletic Commission because I've never seen such terrible officiating. You can't just throw two guys in the ring just because you don't like the outcome. You're supposed to be an unbiased bystander. If you don't want to count them out, just don't count them out. Like it's New Japan. Red Shoes does that crap all the time.
And then Daniels and Jerry Lynn had their little moment and got on each other's face, and Lynn took his shirt off and shoved Daniels.
Yeah, I was like, what is this? I was like, literally, Jerry Lynn, you are the worst referee I've ever seen in my life.
I thought he was about to cradle pile drive that man.
I did too. I thought he was gonna do a wrestling move.
But that's a Mel went for a roll up. Only got 2, and then there was a really great near fall where Daniels went for the Angel's Wings. Amel reversed.
Yeah, he did a bridge.
And then that was a near fall, but Daniels was able to get out. But then Daniels hit the Uranagi backbreaker, hit the BME, and got the win.
Yeah, real good match. Nothing to really complain there. It's better than I thought it might be because it had every potential in the world to not be good. And it was good.
Yep. Then next up, we had the women's 4 corner survival match with the Impact Women's Champion Tessa Blanchard taking on Mae Young Classic competitor Madison Rayne, Chelsea Green, the Hot Mess, and Dr. Britt Baker. It
was interesting how some people who were champions in other companies brought their belts out and then other people didn't. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
The Briscoes brought out the Ring of Honor titles, but Tessa Blanchard did not bring out the Impact Women's belt. So that was kind of interesting.
Right. Pretty much all non-Ring of Honor belts except the NWA belt was shown.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone else who had a title outside, including Kenny and other champions, none of their titles were showcased on the show. Except for, the Bucks did come out with the IWGP titles on.
Yep.
Yeah, they did. So it's just weird. I don't know, maybe it was sort of a thing where if you wanted to bring your belt, you could. Maybe some companies had a problem with it. I don't know. I don't know what the deal was.
Right. Considering, too, that pretty much anybody who was a champion won, except MJF.
Joey Janela.
Oh, yeah, Joey. Yeah, we'll get there. But, yeah, this four-way match was really, really good. These girls, put it on the line.
I heard that Chelsea Green declared that this is going to be the greatest women's match of all time.
Yeah, she did. It wasn't quite that, but it was really good. Lots of dives from all 4 of these women. Lots of great spots. Lots of great near falls. To me, Tessa Blanchard was the star of this match. She was a stud in there, and just loved all the stuff she was doing in there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I thought it was good. I did think it was probably one of, if not the weakest match on the card. I mean, probably the weakest match on the card is probably Stephen Amell and Daniels. Mm-hmm. But this was, if we're talking about this was such a great card, it's really hard to criticize any of it. There was nothing bad. Mm-hmm. But this match was probably the weakest match on the card. With that being said, they got This Is Awesome chance. They had incredible near falls. Everybody got their stuff in. I think it elevated all 4 women. So, I mean, from that standpoint, this was a major success of a match.
Yeah, definitely. Tessa Blanchard ended up getting the win with the hammerlock DDT. The finish was a little flat, though. It looked like Chelsea Green and Britt Baker, they were supposed to...
It looked like a timing issue.
Yeah, they were supposed to be too late to break the pin up, but it actually looked like they did break the pin up.
They did break it up.
But the ref still counted the 3.
They still went to the finish.
That was the finish. But besides that, it was good stuff.
That actually did really did affect the match. But other than that, everything prior to that match was very, very good, and it was a great moment for those women.
Yeah, and they had Tennille Dashwood and the exotic goddess Mandy Leon on commentary.
It was interesting. I kind of thought those girls would be wrestling, but they didn't. Right. So
yeah, and Mandy Leon actually came over to our section.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about. We had these two guys that were sitting next to us. They showed up super late, and they seemed to kind of I don't know if they were into the matches or not. It seemed like they were into it less than everybody else. And then Mandy Leon came over, and then they left with her, and I was like, who are those dudes?
And then the guys next to me were like, dang, I thought she was coming for you guys, because then we could say we're your friends, and then we could all go with her.
I was like, yeah, I wish. I don't know where they're going.
Yeah,
it's probably somewhere super cool, super secret that we don't know about.
Yeah. So yeah, Tessa Blanchard gets the win here, and all 4 women kind of celebrate towards the end. Also, forgot to mention during Tessa's entrance, she was hugging her dad, Tully Blanchard, and Magnum TA, her stepdad.
Yep. So. Yeah, I wish they would have kind of highlighted the fact of who they were.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the crowd really realized.
They didn't. Yeah.
So they didn't get a pop like they probably would have if the crowd knew oh, that's Magnum and Tully.
Right.
The other thing too is Britt Baker came out to
Adam Cole's Ring of Music. I was waiting for a Britt Baker, baby.
Chelsea Green did do a woo woo.
Yeah, Zack Ryder spot.
She did the broski boot.
Broski boot, yeah. Woo, woo, woo.
So that was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, just fun little match, and then the show continued on.
Yeah, then we got crowd shot. We saw they announced Chico El Luchador and Fat Ass Masa at ringside.
Bro, Masa got a huge chant.
Yes.
The crowd was really into Masa being there.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. So yeah, I guess Masa was all in after all.
Yeah. So then next up, we had the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship matchup with the champion Nick Aldis defending against Cody Rhodes, and this was epic. They showed the video package that built up to this match, and then they had a MMA/boxing style entrance with each man kind of having their own camps coming out with them.
I loved it. Loved it. It felt like such a big deal.
Yeah.
It felt like the biggest I'm trying to remember any time that a heavyweight, they do a great job in New Japan. They really do, of making heavyweight matches, title matches seem like a big deal. But I'm just trying to think the last time I watched a presentation that felt big like this. In WWE, I think the last time I really remember it feeling big like this was maybe, I remember the first Triple H and Brock Lesnar match getting a similar sort of treatment. Mm-hmm. But man, when's the last time a match just felt this like that? The way that it was presented, big match feel, very few North American matches get presented like that, and it was awesome the way they did it.
Maybe Punk Cena as far as
Punk Cena was a huge
as far as importance, but still, this just felt so epic.
They had Cody, Cody's blonde again, by the way, everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had the fight camp. So in on Cody's side, when he was getting ready to come out, they had DDP. Who else was there?
Glacier.
Oh, was that Glacier?
Yep, Glacier. Tommy Dreamer. We had his dog Pharaoh.
Dude, Pharaoh got a huge pop.
Yeah, and Brandy Rhodes. And Brandy's dad, too.
Oh, that was Brandy's dad?
Yeah.
I was wondering who all those guys were.
And funny thing about Pharaoh, he actually wasn't supposed to come out with Cody. Apparently, the dog trainer was, out of, location for when they were supposed to, get Pharaoh. So Cody just, took Pharaoh and,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just brought him out there because the crowd went so, got so hot for Pharaoh, yeah, the dog was over, bro. And then
the Nick Aldis, his camp, he had in there Jeff Jarrett, Samuel Shaw,
Tim Storm,
and Sean Davari. And apparently the whole story is these guys, they picked team. These guys all meant something to each of these guys. So they hand selected each their own entourage.
I will say this, Cody coming out, and I never would have imagined this in a million years. Cody legitimately had the biggest pop of the night. Bigger than Omega, bigger than the Bucks. Like, that was the biggest, and I think it had to do with the importance of the moment and the way it was presented. So I'm not, like, trying to claim Cody's a bigger star than anybody, because that might not be the case, but on that night, he was.
Dude, he felt like one of the top star in North America.
In all of wrestling, bro.
Yeah.
Like, Cody felt like the biggest deal in the world. I was like, what is going on right now? Like, the crowd, and bro, when he came out, like, the way they presented it, I just got chills, bro. Like, my whole arm, I had freaking goosebumps. Like, I was like, I had no idea I was gonna respond so emotionally to him, like, challenging for the NWA belt, because I was like, whoa, like, the way, like you said, the way they presented it was literally like a Mayweather fight.
And I was trying to keep up with the group thread while the matches were happening, and Rich is like,
yeah. So
Rich Latta, you guys probably, like, if you think back to the WrestleMania episode, go back in the archive, listen to our WrestleMania episode, dude, you can hear Josh and Rich have this whole argument about Cody.
We got into it about Cody. Like, we literally got into it, and I get into it with Rich all the time about Cody, because I'm like, do you not see that this dude's a star?
Yeah.
Him and James get into it all the time.
Dusty ass Cody. And so we're just like, man, y'all about to flame me, but go Cody.
Oh my god. When you hung out with Rich yesterday, what was he saying about it?
Yeah, he was saying the same thing. He was like, man, I seen that Cody entrance, and I was just like, man, Cody's gonna win.
Oh my god. Now, on the flip side, people did boo Nick Aldis, but I'm just going to say this. Being in the crowd, it felt like Nick Aldis was not anything.
Yeah. Like it went like Cody's music stopped, his started, and like it was just kind of like flat.
Yeah, it was flat. It didn't feel like he was getting a lot of heat or that there was a lot of hatred. Later on in the match, there were moments where he got heat and stuff, but like it did not feel like allowed like, whatever.
And then Earl Hebner was the referee for this matchup, and it seems like he was pretty like nervous or like something when
he's old, bro. Earl old.
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention that Earl made a run in on the Friday night AAW show too.
Yeah, what did he do on that night?
He came, like there was a ref bump in one of the matches, and then he ran down. It was during the Trevor Lee Heritage match on the second night.
Also, before we move on, let me just say, Trevor Lee is awesome. I already knew he was kind of like, he was good, but he's my MVP of AAW for the weekend. Like, he was just great, bro. But yeah, so let's talk about Cody and Nick Aldis.
Yeah, so Hebner was there, and man, they made this feel like an old school NWA title match.
Bro, you know me. I love 80s wrestling. I love that era. I love the NWA belt, the 10 pounds of gold. So this is right up my alley. So, like, in some ways, was this the best match of the night? No, but in a lot of ways, this was my favorite match of All In.
Yeah.
When it was one of the matches I did not care about.
Dude, I did not care about this match. I was like, this was a match I was actually, like, least looking forward to seeing.
Me too.
And, like, now, like, hindsight, like, I would have been fine if this was the main event.
Now I'm like, all right, what happens with the NWA belt after this? Like, this is great.
And so both of these guys, they're going back and forth from the beginning, and then Cody goes for his signature little top rope dive thing that he does. Aldis catches him with a forearm on the way down, and Cody's selling. He's like knocked out.
They were both like kind of acting for a while like they were knocked out, kind of adding to the drama.
Yeah.
Cody's laid out next to the timekeeper's table, and he's got his head under there, so obviously he's gigging. Like, you can definitely tell what's going on. But Earl Hebner throws up the X, and I was like,
dude, is Cody really hurt? Like, they really gonna stop this match?
I just think, like, I get it. You want it to seem believable, so you throw up the X. But isn't the whole point of throwing up the X that, like, it's supposed to be kayfabe?
Right.
Then when you kayfabe it, the next time someone throws up an X, I'm not gonna believe it, you carny mother effer. It defeats the whole purpose of throwing up the X. But yeah, he threw up the X.
DDP comes out to check on Cody.
Huge pop. The crowd starts talking about how like he's gonna heal him with
yoga. Everyone's like yoga. And so and then Sean Daivari comes out and kind of like pushes like DDP over and like grabs a towel. He's gonna try and throw the towel in for Cody. And then DDP goes in the ring, hits him with a diamond cutter out of nowhere. Huge pop. Everybody's throwing up the diamond hand signal. And then the referee gets the, DDP and Sean Daivari out of there. Cody comes up. He's bleeding.
He has the crimson mask.
Yep. Just like all good former NWA champions had.
him and Nick, they didn't work a super crazy match. I mean, they worked a compelling match, but it really was not about the moves. It really wasn't about the work rate. It was just about the outcome of the match. Like the crowd was really invested in what happens with this NWA belt. And then long story short, it came to a point where Nick Aldis tried to do a sunset flip. Cody sits down on it, cradles the legs. 1, 2, 3.
Well, before that, we missed Brandy. So Nick Aldis was going to go for an elbow drop. Brandy was trying to tell him to stop. And Nick Aldis was like, whatever, man, I'm going for this elbow drop. And she puts herself on top of Cody.
Yeah, she draped herself over his body.
And so she got the brunt of the elbow drop on her back.
He got heat for that. But I was sitting there and I was like, she shouldn't have been in the ring. She shouldn't have. Like, what are you guys mad about? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would have done the same thing.
But yeah, so you mentioned the roll up finish and Cody wins.
Oh man, what a huge elation! Like the crowd. I mean, we were marking out. Like we were really marking out. They should have dropped confetti right then and there. I know it was halfway through the show, but they should have just dropped confetti because it was like that special. Like his whole entire fight team comes out. Like the presentation, him holding the belt, like Cody's crying, Brandy's crying, like it was perfect, bro. Yeah. Like it was perfect. I was very happy. I don't know what that means.
Well, the NWA 70th anniversary show is coming up October 21st on Fight TV. I believe it's going to be $24. So obviously Cody is the NWA champion, and I'm guessing he's going to be defending the title at that 70th anniversary show. Also, there will be bringing back the NWA National Championship, which will be like their US/Intercontinental title. And there also are plans to bring back other titles. I got this information from Rich Kraetsch's interview with Dave Lagana on Voices of Wrestling. So if you're on the Patreon side, you can check that out. And talk a lot about the NWA and kind of what's in store for the future. And a lot of this like insights and just, fun fact, Drew McIntyre was supposed to be Nick Aldis. Like, before he got signed, like, Drew was going to be the guy they were going to put the NWA belt on.
Really?
Yeah. But then he ended up getting signed, and so plans changed. But, yeah.
I just, at this point, because it seems like there is not an actual network of NWA affiliates anymore at all.
Right.
It just seems like, I'm not sure what their business model is going to be. I know that they've talked about running shows in 2019, but I'm wondering, like, is it just going to be that the NWA is a branded title that just gets loaned out? Is that all it is?
What they're kind of doing is almost like a boxing promotion where like they're promoting fights. Like they don't have like a roster or like weekly show. Like they're promoting title fights.
Okay, so like the WBC or something.
Right.
Can that work in wrestling?
It worked for so far. It's working so far.
Is it?
Well, it worked for the All In.
It worked for this. It's working so far for this one event. But no, this.
I mean, they've been promoting. I mean, Aldis has had the belt for over 200 days and has had title matches in various promotions.
Right, but up until now, it's been like, what does that mean? It's just a guy showing up with a belt. There's no promotion behind it. So what does it mean? So I'm still skeptical. Like, but this seems like it did more for the NWA than anything else in like what? 30 years almost.
Yeah.
28 years, 27 years. Like, this was incredible.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
I'm going to be interested to see who they book for that 70th anniversary show and who Cody will be defending against on that show. Like, will they run back Nick Aldis or...
I don't know if they'll continue to have the success they're having with Cody with the belt, but, you know, Cody's probably the guy right now in the Indies that if you're going to have a guy carry that belt and, you know, look what he did for Ring of Honor.
Right. And he can get the belt exposure on Ring of Honor TV, on New Japan TV. He's going to be the NWA champion going against Juice Robinson at Fighting Spirit Unleashed.
Very interesting. Oh my God. Is he going to beat Juice for the title?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, you can't have the NWA champion lose to the IWGP US champion, can you?
They're going to have to work to a non-finish like it's freaking 1980s. Oh my God. So this was just great. Like, this whole thing was great. And then at that point you kind of got the feeling like, wow, the crowd was so hot. How are we going to rebound from that? And they're like, well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to have a good old-fashioned Chicago street fight.
Yes, Hangman Pagey against the bad boy Joey Janela with the bad girl Penelope Ford. And then we said these guys were going to kill each other, and that's what they did.
Yeah, one thing that was a lot of people didn't know who Joey Janela was.
Yeah, there was people behind us like, who's this guy?
A lot of fans don't know Joey Janela.
I'm like, dude, this is Joey Janela, man. This guy's like...
A lot of people still don't know him.
That's crazy.
As successful as his shows have been, I mean, it's moderate success, you know what I mean? But he's not mainstream the way that, like, Cody is, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah, and he came out, and people who haven't seen him, like, we had friends who were like, man, his entrance is really cool. And I was like, they even do, like...
The real entrance.
The real entrance that he does, that's even cooler than this. But, yeah, he came out, and then... Hangman came out, and it's just been very interesting because Hangman has like different personas in different companies, sort of, different storylines. But everything about his character going in this match has been dictated by being the Elite, you know, and the whole Joey Ryan story. And so you would have expected him to kind of get cheered, but like he was kind of the heel in this match.
Yeah.
And people like were trying to... It was weird. I had weird feelings about it because the crowd was already kind of dead, and then the match starts, and the crowd's going into the whole like, you killed Joey.
Joey Killer.
Yeah. But like, I think a good portion of the crowd just wanted to cheer him because he's part of the Elite. You know,
right.
He's part of the Bullet Club.
Right.
So it's like... It's very difficult. You know, he's being the Elite cast member, and people love him, but then they want us to boo him. And he's not even going against the guy that he killed. So the beginning was kind of a little awkward.
Yeah.
Plus everything was so dead from the match prior to that. But then things heated up real quick.
Yeah, they started doing suicide dives. Hangman Page did the moonsault to the outside.
Oh, it was awesome. That's another thing. How you gonna expect me to boo Hangman Page when he's doing the Ross? He has like one of the Ross movesets like out there. He's doing golden triangle moonsaults and buckshot lariats.
That spot with the chair, he did that pump handle fallaway slam.
That was awesome. Yeah.
In the chair. They go outside. They find a Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, I didn't realize Cracker Barrel was like an official sponsor, which is kind of hilarious.
Yeah. And so they were using the barrel for spots, kind of brawling in and out of the crowd, a buckshot lariat from the crowd to the floor.
So much in this match happened. I can't even recall all of it, but I do know at one point they set up a ladder and they did a
burning hammer
onto the ladder.
Oh my gosh.
And then later on, they ended up what was that? They did another. Oh yeah. So I mean, they ended up eventually. Having Penelope get involved, and Penelope and Hangman were going at it.
Right, Penelope did like a dive, and there was something else she
looked great too.
Yeah, dude.
I've never seen her wrestle.
Yeah, I've seen her. I think I've seen her wrestle one time, I think. But yeah, she was pulling off some great moves. And she had the bag with the shoes of the Hangman,
with the boots,
the boots that he was wearing when he killed Joey Ryan. And then they had the table spot by the stage where Hangman set up two tables, and he was supposed to powerbomb through both, but Joey only...
They were too far away.
Yeah.
They were too far away. He only went through the one. Later on, Joey ended up setting up Hangman on a table to the outside, and he jumped off the... turnbuckle, but he slipped, and he didn't land like in the right area, so like that fall looked pretty bad too. Like only a small portion of the table broke. It looked like Hangman was gonna land on, or he might have landed on his head. I don't even know. But yeah, so then eventually they ended up working to a spot where Joey Ryan, Hangman Page ends up dumping out his sack, and he's got a landline phone, like an old school landline phone.
Yeah.
He starts attacking, Joey Janela with it. They're on the top of a ladder. He's bashing him with the phone, which is apparently the murder weapon that he used to kill Joey Ryan. Which, by the way, during the press conference the night before during StarCast, dude comes out and says, "Oh yeah, by the way, I did kill Joey Ryan."
Right.
And I was like, "How's this dude not locked up?" Like you just literally like admitted to a murder, but you're still gonna be on all in, like, all right. But that kind of brings us to the finale of the match, to where
got some of the ladder, hits the rite of passage off the ladder through a table.
Yeah, that was crazy. I didn't think they were actually gonna do it, but then I just thought, you know what, they are gonna do it because these guys are crazy.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was scary. Luckily, he protected him. I think they didn't fall straight down. They fell like to the side.
Yeah. Well, when I watched it back too on Honor Club, you can definitely, like, when you do the replay, you can see that Hangman protected him. But still, that was still a crazy spot.
It's a crazy spot. It's a crazy. I mean, that move's already crazy to begin with. So yeah, really crazy.
Right. That'd
be like doing a tombstone. Guys have done this before, but like it shouldn't be done. But it's like it's like doing a tombstone. It's basically a reverse tombstone.
Right.
So it's like doing a tombstone off of a ladder through a table. It's just crazy.
And then we had the lights go out, and we had penis druids come out.
Yeah, so at that point, it kind of like became clear like they were doing a Undertaker.
First they showed a video of Joey Ryan coming back to life.
Yeah, like his dead body's laying there, and then all of a sudden his penis starts becoming erect, and I was like, "Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me!" Oh my god, it's already a storyline that I'm not that big of a fan of, and then it just got ridiculous.
Yeah, and then you got these guys dressed up as penises, walking out as druids, and they
all touch their tips together, and you're like, oh my god. And then Joey came out, and Hangman's got great facials. He's just like, he just looks so scared.
He's like, I killed you. Joey comes out.
This is such a WrestleMania 20 moment, like Kane and the Undertaker.
And Joey gets the oil out.
Joey's disgusting.
Oils himself up. Pulls a lollipop out of his trunks, puts it in Hangman's mouth, super kicks him.
I'm getting sick thinking about it.
And then the penis druids lift Hangman up like you would lift the Undertaker out and like walk off of him.
There's so much about this that I can really appreciate, because it was really smart, and it was done well, and it was entertaining, and it was a great payoff. Like I was complaining a lot. Not a lot, but I was complaining a bit about how I was like, why aren't any of these matches playing off of being the elite storylines? Mm-hmm. But what really happened was they booked it, instead of just being like, oh, we're going to have Joey Ryan versus Hangman Page, they did other matches that incorporated those storylines and then paid them off. They did that all night.
Yeah.
They did that all night, which actually was kind of satisfying in a way.
Yeah,
that everything did get paid off.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I will say this. I cannot stand Joey Ryan. I don't like his gimmick. I don't like anything about it. Like, I just really, really, really hate it. And I do know that I'm like one of those fans, again, where it's like the Marco Stunt thing. People are going to be like, you don't get it. I get it. I don't like it.
Now, I want to say about with you. I don't like Joey Ryan either. I'm not down with the whole gimmick and all that stuff. And
I don't like him putting oil down his pants, and then he puts a lollipop and puts it in someone's mouth. It's disgusting, bro. It's disgusting, bro.
Yeah.
And also, like, the whole dick flip thing. I don't like the dick flip thing. I think it's hilarious when they talk about famous dick wrestlers. That stuff's funny, but like when you see the reality of him wrestling and like he's gonna flip someone with his dick, that's stupid. I hate it. Yeah. Oh my god. So anyways, but this was fine. This was good, and I thought what was really smart about it was the perfect placement in the card to take everyone from this really high, and obviously everyone got deflated. And how are you not going to get excited again for a guy getting, for guys going through tables and ladders?
Right.
So, and these matches, when they're done correctly, talking about street fights, they start out kind of on the lower end and escalate. So this is the perfect match to escalate the crowd from a low point right back into a high point where we're all ready to go for the rest of the card, and that's exactly what this did. So from a booking standpoint and a production standpoint, this was definitely the right call for the show.
And so then after that, we see Jay Lethal walking backstage in his Ring of Honor gear. And next thing you know, you see a hand him Macho Man glasses, and it gets the old slap on the shoulder, and he transforms into Macho Man.
Black Machismo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so Flip Gordon comes out first with Brandy Rhodes. And then we get Macho Man's music.
I didn't like that, by the way.
What, the Macho music?
No, I didn't like that Brandy got elbowed earlier in the show, and then by the end of the match, she was fine, and then later in the show, she's walking out with Flip. I get it, but I was like, come on, just sell a little bit. Come on, like, you got elbowed.
I did notice in her entrance when I watched the Honor Club, she was like selling a little bit.
Oh, that's good. that fixes everything. But I'm not trying to be too nitpicky, but I do have to say that personally, that was something I didn't necessarily love. But her and Flip was cool. She looked so good in that military fatigue outfit. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, I love Brandy Rhodes.
Yeah, Brandy's bad.
No, like, I want to wife her up. And I don't mean, like, steal her from Cody. I understand. She's with Cody. I just want to be, like, the side husband. Like, I don't even care. I'm serious. Like, I'll take that L. I'll take that L for Brandy. I don't even care.
Yeah, she'd risk it all.
For Brandy? I risk it all. Oh, my God. I love her.
So Jay makes his entrance with Macho Man music. He's out with the genius Larry Poffo.
That was great.
New shirts, brothers from other mothers.
The crowd was really into this. They really loved the Black Machismo entrance. Like, it was just great. It was great seeing him come out that way.
Big Black Machismo chants. But Flip was over too, a lot of Flip chants.
Yeah.
And the match starts, and it starts off Savage Steamboat. They're
literally doing Savage Steamboat. Like, I don't think a lot of fans caught on to that, but like they're doing like frame for frame the Savage Steamboat stuff. Jay Lethal starts going to the outside and grabbing Brandy like she's Elizabeth, and he's like, "You stay here." And I was like, and she's like, "I'm not with you." Like, so I was like, this is great. Like, this is so good.
And then eventually, like, one point, he's like chasing her around the ring. She runs in the ring, and she's like, "I am not Liz." And he like picks her up on his shoulder. And then she like realizes, and she like slaps him on the shoulder, and he like goes back to be like normal Jay Lethal.
Yeah, he goes back to being Jay Lethal and starts working a match like he's.
But first he was like, "What?" Like, he's looking down, like he doesn't realize like how he got there. Like, he's like, why is he like in Macho Man gear?
Yeah.
Then he goes back to working like a regular like Jay Lethal match, and it was a good match. And then eventually, Poffo is like telling Jay to go hit the elbows and to finish him off Macho Man style, and he slaps him on the shoulder again. He turns back into Black Machismo, goes up there, hits the 3 elbow drops.
He hits the 3 elbow drops, goes for the pin, and then Flip kicks out
and starts hulking up.
I was like, oh my God, they're doing WrestleMania 5. This is awesome. I know some people didn't like that, but like the nostalgic fan of me, I was just like, this is great.
And it's Flip, not Hogan.
Yeah, it's not like, let's not I don't know, I'm just gonna say this, like, you know, Dream came out dressed like Hogan, no one freaked out.
Right.
This dude hulks up and people don't like it. I'm like, just calm down a little bit, you know. It's not actually Hulk Hogan, you know. We were at the Pro Wrestling Tee store, and Hogan has this shirt. I love this Hulk Hogan t-shirt. It's the Hulk Hogan Ichiban New Japan, like, it's the 82 style like shirt. It's red, black, and white, and it literally looks like his logo. It is his logo from New Japan. And I'm like, oh my God, that shirt is so hard.
We were actually joking about that last night. Josh was like, man, I want that shirt, but I have a black roommate.
No, I wouldn't wear it even if I wasn't your roommate. That's not how I am. If I wanted to wear that shirt and I didn't care, I would just wear the shirt. But I have principles. I'm not gonna spend money to try to support Hulk Hogan and his, you know, stuff. But at the same time, it's a really cool shirt. And you know what? Rich likes that shirt too. Does he not?
Yeah.
Yeah, that shirt's awesome. Even though we don't like Hogan, like it's a great shirt. So, but yeah, he Flip hulked up. He hit him with the big boot, and then he didn't go for a leg drop.
No, he went for the leg drop, but Jay got up, and so he had a Pele.
I thought this match was really good. I know some people. You watched it live, we watched it live together, but you watched it on the broadcast. Did it come off better to you the second time, or how did it seem?
To me, it came off about the same. Like I still thought it was as good as what I watched live.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people that we talked to had said that weren't as into it as maybe we were for whatever reason. I don't know, but I thought it was really, really, really good match. Yeah. I did.
And I think it's one of the best Flip Gordon matches that we've seen live.
I agree. I thought it was one of the better Flip matches. Like, obviously, the stuff he did at, like, Super Juniors is going to be more high-end, like, athletic stuff. Mm-hmm. But in terms of working a main event style, like, Flip looked like a star. And, I mean, he was great. This was one of the best worked matches I've ever seen Flip in.
Yeah. And then post-match, we had Bully Ray came out. He attacked both Lethal and Flip. Then Papo tried to make the save. He kicked Papo in the ding-ding. He's down. He gets a table out, but then Colt Cabana comes out to make the save. And then they shield powerbomb Bully Ray through the table.
Did you mention that Cheeseburger was in the Battle Royal? I feel like we didn't mention it, but he was, and he was awesome, by the way. Yeah. I kind of thought he was going to get involved here because Bully Ray was out, but he didn't. But yeah, so basically it was who? Tommy Dreamer. Oh, it was just Tommy Dreamer was it Tommy Dreamer and Colt Cabana that came out to make the save?
No, Dreamer wasn't here at all.
Oh, it was just Colt Cabana.
Right.
So Colt came out to make the save, and then basically like Jay Lethal and Flip Gordon recovered, and then the three of them teamed up on Bully Ray.
Yeah, and the shield powerbomb.
They did the shield powerbomb.
And the whole crowd was, ooh, ah.
Yeah. That was cool. And that was like the one little jab they did the whole night, like to WWE, which was kind of funny.
Well, back in the Battle Royal, Jimmy Jacobs had a jab.
Oh, yeah.
He went for the pedigree. He was like, hi, Hunter.
He didn't get it, though, which is funny.
Yeah. I feel like there was another move he did, too, before that.
Was it a stunner?
I think there was something he hit. I can't remember now.
It was a really WWE move, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I feel like it might have been a stunner, or it might have been like rock bottom or something like that.
So then next up we had the IW...
Was it an RKO?
I think it might have been.
It might have been an RKO from out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he went for the pedigree, yeah. So then next we have the IWGP Heavyweight Champion Kenny Omega taking on Pentagon Jr.
Big fight feel.
Yeah. Dude, the crowd lost it for both of these guys' entrances. This was a dream match. You're probably never going to see this match happen again. I mean, we remember WrestleMania weekend, it was supposed to be the Lucha Bros against the Golden Lovers, but that match got blocked due to politics.
Well, a lot's changed since April.
Yeah.
A lot in the Lucha Libre world has changed since then.
I mean, you got guys working both CMLL and AAA, and all kind of crazy stuff happening in Mexico right now. But yeah, so we got this awesome Kenny Omega versus Pentagon match. Big fight feel. To me, this was the best wrestling match on the whole card.
You're probably right. I just feel like I'm not... Watching something, if I watch something on a broadcast, I can give you a pretty decent opinion about it. Watching it live, it's harder for me, especially like since usually you go to a show, there's a few matches that stand out head and tails above everything else, and it's on a much higher scale. So it's like, even if it's a good show, you're like, this is what really stood out on this card, because A, everything was good, B, everything was different. So it was like, it was hard to compare things because they were all different styles of wrestling.
Right.
Different styles of presentation, different styles. It was so hard for me to really be like, this is the best thing. Like, you're probably right. I'm not even going to disagree with you. I just, like, for me personally watching, I was like, I don't know what's the best. I just like it all. I want more of this.
Give me more.
We want more. We want more. We really like it.
Feed us more. But yeah, I mean, this match was insane. V-triggers, super kicks.
Pentagon got a lot of offense in the beginning, which was pretty interesting. Kenny did not come out with the IWGP title, which I did not expect. I thought he was coming out with that belt. And it worried me. it worried me when Kenny didn't come out with the IWGP title.
Yeah, because I remember on the car ride, you were like, I would put money that Kenny Omega is going to beat Pentagon.
I was like, in no world is Pentagon beating Kenny Omega. He's the IWGP champion. Like, that's never going to happen at All In at this time. I was like, it's just not. I was like, I would put serious money on the line. Like, I would literally, like, put my life on the line. He's not losing tonight. And then he didn't come out with the IWGP title. I was like, that's kind of making me a little bit nervous. And then the match started, and then I got real nervous because I was like, oh, they're really presenting it like Pentagon could beat this dude. Like, this is competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, crazy spot with the Fear Factor, the package pile driver on the apron onto Kenny.
Oh, my God.
That looked nasty.
Yeah.
Even watched it back on the broadcast. I'm sure he protected him, but it didn't look like he did.
It looked like he hit his head.
Yeah. It was nasty.
Huh.
Of course, tons of dives from both guys. The biggest pop of the match was for that near fall where Penta breaks Kenny's arm, follows it up with the Fear Factor again, and yeah, everybody thought that Penta got the win there.
So that's what the package pile driver is called, the Fear Factor?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, I've never really seen anybody kick out of the arm break / package pile driver combo. So when that happened, I was convinced. I really thought Kenny Omega just lost.
I know. You were like, what?
I wasn't the only one, man. The crowd really ate up. I think that near fall was like the one near fall of the night where people were like, oh my God. I thought we just saw like a shocker.
Yeah. And then the good spot where, Penta's on his knees and he's doing the zero, miedo, and Kenny just keeps V-triggering him in the face and he just keeps getting up. Zero, miedo, bam, V-trigger, V-trigger.
Yep, that was a moment.
Then you have the moment where Kenny hits the Fear Factor on Penta. And
dude, I don't know about on the apron, but that time he definitely hit like Pentagon's head on the ground.
Yeah, you can see clearly on the broadcast too, where Penta's head just bounces off the mat. Yeah, man, so many great stuff. Comes down. Penta goes for a super kick. Omega hits a V-trigger, hits a reverse Rana, another V-trigger, and then the one-wing angel, and gets the win.
Yeah, great match. Very violent. How long did that match even go?
17 minutes and 45 seconds.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it was a long match at all. They were in, they were out. Very violent, big spots. A lot of fans did not even. I don't feel like a lot of people there watch Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
Like, this crowd is a very unique type of crowd. Like, there's a lot of people who, like, support the Young Bucks, support the Bullet Club, but they're, like, Ring of Honor fans, or they're, like...
just being the elite fans.
The elite fans. They're, like, fans of pro wrestling in general, but they're not, like, watching, like, the G1. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so there's so many people who, like, Kenny's, like, this elusive thing. Like, they kind of think they know about him, but they're not like us. They're not watching New Japan.
Right.
And they're like, that was insane. And I'm like... Man, you should have seen him and Ishii this year. You should have seen him and Bushi this year.
You should have seen him and Okada.
Should have seen him. Yeah, what are you guys doing? And it is funny how many fans still. You think that fans kind of do know about Kenny at this point. You know what I mean? You think they do, but then when you get into like a crowd of people that are not in your sort of like bubble of fandom, it is eye-opening to where you're like, oh. They don't know. And that's crazy to me.
Yeah, so Kenny picks up the win here. Mm-hmm. Great matchup. Then we go to the semi-main event. The villain Marty Scurll against the Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada.
Yeah, this.
Oh, actually, before we get there, how can we forget? Post-match, the lights go off.
Oh, yeah.
And, you see somebody... For us, you can't see it on the broadcast, but for us, you can see somebody, like...
I saw someone coming
to the ring.
Yeah.
And then...
I thought it was Pac.
Yeah, we were like, oh, is it Neville? Is it Neville? Is it Neville? And then the lights go on. And like,
I kind of also thought that maybe it was the OG Bull Club.
Yeah.
I thought it could be Tama and them.
Yeah.
They didn't even have an appearance on this show at all, which I was very surprised about.
Yeah.
But, I thought that things from the show would kind of filter into New Japan storylines to some degree, but not really. Nothing did. Like, not even a little bit.
Right. So, lights come back on, and Pentagon's still laying on the mat, And then, Kenny goes to help him up, and next thing you know, Penta starts attacking Kenny.
As soon as he stood up, I knew exactly who it was because I saw the tattoos on his arm, and I was like, it's Jericho! It's Jericho!
And he hits the code breaker.
And I'm still everyone at this point knows who it is, but I'm like, guys, it's Jericho! And they don't know, you know what I mean?
Right.
But the mask still hasn't come off, and I'm still telling people around me it's Y2J! It's Y2J! And I marked so freaking hard for this crap.
Yeah, dude, he pulls the mask off, does a big reveal as Jericho, grabs a mic, says, I'll see you on the Jericho cruise, Kenny.
Yep. And then all that wind that was in my sails got deflated because the whole time it's happening, I was like, oh my god, IWGP title versus IC title. Oh my god, Wrestle Kingdom, King of Pro Wrestling, all this stuff. And then he's like, the Jericho Cruise. And I was like, wah, wah.
It's not even a one-on-one match. It's just the Bullet Club Alpha Club match.
Yeah. So I think here, this was noteworthy to a degree because Jericho wasn't supposed to really be involved with this based on the comments he's been making over the past few months about not working with outside companies and yada yada. It's kind of clear to me this probably was planned for a while.
Yeah.
With that being said, I think they did need to have some sort of noteworthy surprise. This was definitely a surprise. No one expected Jericho to be there. I think Jericho actually he went through a crazy routine to hide.
Yeah, he took a private jet from, I think he was in Kansas, took a private jet to All In, hid in the Young Bucks office. He put his makeup on the plane, and then got the gear, got dressed in the Young Bucks office, hid in their office, and then after the show, he got back on the private jet and flew to his next stop.
I think he had a show that night. Or
yeah,
something that.
Later that night, yeah.
Yeah, so this man's crazy. But it was cool. It was very interesting. It was noteworthy. It was buzzworthy, but it's not leading anywhere. You know what I mean? When it was happening, I was like, oh my God, they're going to do Omega and Alpha and Omega too. You know what I mean? Right. But we're not getting that. So in a way, it kind of was disappointing. But in the moment, and probably from the broadcast and just for the star value of having him appear on their card, it was great.
Yeah. And then we go backstage. You see the hand guys from being the Elite find Marty.
Oh yeah.
They're like, hey, look, it's the guy we fired from the music label.
Yeah, so they have those two guys doing their thing, and the one, and they're like, now, Marvin. And Marty breaks both their hands, which was really funny.
Yeah.
So again, just kind of paying off storylines. Everything leading up to All In kind of got paid off in a small way. And then Okada came out. He was still kind of crazy Okada. I was bummed when the music changed. But Okada came. I was so emotional watching Okada for the first time. I got teary-eyed.
He did have a jacket.
He had a jacket. He didn't have a t-shirt.
And his necklace.
No balloons.
No balloons. He did hit the Rainmaker pose in the match with the zoom out.
Yeah, so now this match, I thought this match was excellent. I thought it was one of the best matches of the entire card. I was surprised it went on after Kenny and Pentagon.
Right, because remember, based off being the Elite, Kenny and Pentagon was supposed to be the semi-main.
And this ended up being the semi-main event. And this was the most main event style worked match to me. Mm-hmm. Yes, you got the big fight feel from Cody and Nick Aldis, but they kind of worked like a classic match. It wasn't and then you got a great singles match out of Flippin'
Jay.
There's a lot of gimmickry, stuff like that. And then you got that super ultra violent match with Kenny and Pentagon, but this was main event style wrestling.
This could have main evented a New Japan show.
Yeah, it really, maybe not a dome or anything.
Right, no, but
a regular
Destruction.
Yeah, it definitely could have. It had that feel to it, and they did go long.
Yeah, they went 12 minutes over.
They went 12 minutes over their allotted time. How long was that match? 30 something.
It was 26 minutes and 5 seconds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was supposed to go 14.
It was only supposed to go 14 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, so Marty went in there and was like, I'm going to ask for forgiveness.
Right.
And not permission.
Yeah.
Yeah, him and Okada, they had a great match. Okada came to work. Okada did not mail it in or anything like that, but I don't think for Okada this was like a dome level like type of performance or anything like that, you know? Mm-hmm. He came in and he was the Rainmaker. But Marty wrestled like his life was on the line.
Yeah, he did, dude.
Marty wrestled like it was the greatest like performance of his career, like sort of deal, and it showed. Like he was really wrestling his ass off. Like it was great.
Yeah, dude, Marty. I mean, I've always been a big fan of Marty, and like I had a feeling this was gonna be. There was some worry it was gonna be a comedy match, but I'm like, man, I feel like they're gonna want to do a serious match, and that's what they did.
They did a really serious match. It was really great. I like the spot where. Where Okada acted like he's gonna do a Rainmaker, and then he does 2-0-5, and then Marty grabs his fingers like he's gonna, and then breaks them, and I was like, oh, that's perfect. Also, like at one point, what was it with the umbrella?
So he grabs the umbrella, but Okada grabs him. He goes to do the Rainmaker, but then he uses the umbrella to block the rain.
That's right.
Block the Rainmaker.
That's right. That was great.
And then he hits Okada with the umbrella and puts him in the chicken wing.
Yeah, and there's some times I thought he was gonna beat Okada. Like when he had him in the chicken wing and stuff. A few different times where it was really close, and I was like, wow, like he's about to pick up a win on Okada. Like this is crazy. You know, part of it too is that all the other members of being the Elite had gone over up to that point. Mm-hmm. So you're like, is it going to be a clean sweep? Like, because they're the bookers, they're just going to put themselves over. But yeah, Okada eventually ends up going over, and you know,
like, yeah, he hits the discus Rainmaker followed by the regular Rainmaker. Is that what
he's calling it, the discus Rainmaker?
I'm not sure what he calls it, but that's what I'm calling it.
I've been calling it the burning Rainmaker. I don't know. I really don't know what to call it, but I guess it's part of his repertoire from now on. Mm-hmm. But yeah, great match. He ends up, you know, pinning Marty 1, 2, 3. Marty just looked excellent, and the crowd was chanting heavyweight. There were people who were trying to chant 205.
Yeah.
And never got over.
Yeah.
People did not want to like boo or like downplay Marty because I don't think to the wrestling fans he's a joke.
Right.
Even though it is a funny joke, like fans we're not going to get with that. But when it was like heavyweight, it's like like
dude, he hit that sick brainbuster.
That brainbuster was beautiful.
That people erupted in heavyweight chant after that.
That was beautiful. Yeah, and I mean that's one of my favorite moves of all time. So yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, so Marty was like hitting all his signature stuff, but just couldn't get it done.
Yeah, but still a great match. I mean, he looked excellent in that match.
And then we get cut right to the main event. Rey Mysterio teaming with Bandito and Phoenix to take on the Golden Elite, Young Bucks, and Kota Ibushi. And like we mentioned, the Skrull Okada match went over 12 minutes, so this main event was supposed to go 30 minutes. Time got cut from the match, so this became an all-out sprint. All 6 of these guys doing all their signature spots.
I think they wrestled for 14 minutes or something like that?
My thing here says 11 minutes, 52 seconds.
Really? Mm-hmm. Wow. So, I mean, yeah, they probably had, like, what the best, 11 or 12 minute match you could possibly hope to have.
Yeah.
This was insane. Like, just, again, we've talked about Bandito on the AAW shows. I think he really impressed a lot of people on this show.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 guys sitting next to me had never seen Bandito. I was like, dude, this Bandito guy is raw. Just watch.
A lot of people have never heard or seen Bandito before.
And then the first thing, Bandito does this crazy move, and they're like, oh, you're right. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, and Phoenix was out there doing the Phoenix stuff. Rey Mysterio came out dressed like Wolverine. Mm-hmm. The Young Bucks debuted their new song and their new entrance, which was really cool. And then their gear was raw as well.
Yeah, gear was raw. And, all the super kicks, all the dives and flips. To just, amazing stuff. Matt Jackson did a stage dive onto
Yes. So I saw Matt down there get on the stage, like crawling up, and he was just sweeping stuff. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what is he doing? And it was the Okada dollars. Like he didn't want to. He was afraid to do the stage dive, so he didn't want to slip on the Okada dollars. So he was moving them out of the way. Kayfabe. But yeah, I mean, they did a lot of crazy stuff in just a 12-minute match. It was an excellent main event. I mentioned Rey Mysterio was dressed up like Wolverine, right?
Yeah.
Just one of the coolest, like, little, like, costumes he's ever had. Like,
and dude, once Mysterio and Ibushi got under ring together, dude, huge pop. Crowd was losing their minds for the Mysterio Ibushi face-off.
They definitely were. But yeah, so I mean, this match was just crazy, and then suddenly it was just over, you know? It was just suddenly over, and then as soon as it was over, it was like the match was over, they're raising their hands, and then I see on the screen, because the screen that we were displayed was the actual pay-per-view, and then it was like, you know, the finale, like a few seconds later, it's just like da da da,
yeah.
And then the pay-per-view was over, and I was like, they didn't have a lot of time, like what happened?
Yeah. And I know I watched on the broadcast, and it was like, you know, Eric Martin's like, yo, it's been all in. Thanks for listening.
What's going on there?
But yeah, so the Young Bucks, they hit more bang for your buck, but that was broken up. And then they ended up hitting the Meltzer driver on Bandito to get the win. Go off the air real quick, and then they get the mic, and they're like, as you can probably tell, our time was cut. Like we ended the pay-per-view with 3 seconds to spare.
I don't know if that's true, but it seemed like it was true. There's people who've been questioning it, but being there and seeing the timing of everything, it felt like only 3 seconds passed, and then the pay-per-view was over.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but yeah, I mean, they the All In ended, and the crowd was just going. The confetti was falling. The crowd was going crazy.
Nobody left their seats.
Nobody was leaving. Like, nobody left to, like, beat the traffic or get to their cars. Like, they wanted to be there and be part of the show. The show kept going after. Yeah, I mean, the whole entire Being the Elite cast and the Massey family and everything, they all came out. The confetti was just dropping. Like, people were so into this. Like, it was such a special moment.
Yeah, and then they cut a, promo and just thanking everybody and potentially, teasing it all in too.
Well, it's just great. Matt basically said, he's like, you know what? You guys are here. We did this because you want good pro wrestling. Mm-hmm. And the crowd went crazy. And he's like, you want your sports entertainment to actually be entertaining.
Yeah.
And the crowd went crazy. And he's like, that's what this was about tonight. He was like, it's about what our vision of what pro wrestling can be, what we want it to be. We think we can keep doing this. He was like, we want to give you what you want. You know, it's very simple. And I think that's a lot about we're not going to do the whole like anti-WWE thing, but that is what a lot of this is about. Fans that are fed up about not getting what they want, and then a group saying, Here you go. You want power? Here you go. You want death-defying spots? Here you go. You want different styles of wrestling? Here you go. You want,
dream matches?
Here you go. Like, we'll do it. And it was like, hell yeah, like, this is awesome.
Yeah. Cody was like, sometimes when I make a bet, I like to go double or nothing. Everybody was like, all in two. Yeah. All in two.
Yeah, the all in two chants were great.
He's like, I don't have a graphic or anything to announce. And everybody was like, boo.
Yeah, they're like, they did say that they're talking about some things. Mm-hmm. It did seem, and then they said, you know what, at this point, people are talking about, we're going to go here, we're going to go there, we're going to do this, we're going to go do that. He's like, all I can say, wherever we're going, the elite is going. And he's like, all of us.
Except Marty.
Why?
Marty wasn't in the ring.
Was he not in the ring with them? I did not notice that.
Yeah, Marty was not in the post-celebration.
But Hangman was.
Yeah. Well, Marty signed a 6-month extension.
Yeah, but I didn't think that doesn't mean anything.
I know, but...
No, it literally doesn't mean anything. Like, if they're all planning to go together... Mm-hmm. I'd be very surprised by that, but I don't know. To me, it sounded to me like what they were saying is they're not going to WWE.
I don't think they are.
That's what it sounded like to me. That's the vibe that I got from that entire thing.
Dude, like, after that, like, do you go to WWE after that? Like,
you put on, like, that amazing production and you, like, get this bug for it and you want to keep doing it, and then you get told, like, no, you're going to come here and be this character and this is all you're going to do. Like, here's your role.
Goddamn, pal. It's time for you to put the Stardust back on.
It is crazy. Like, this show... Well, I guess we'll get to the show thoughts here in a second. But yeah, so Cody basically did say, though, essentially what it sounded like he was saying is that whatever they decide to do, the whole crew's going or they're not doing it at all.
Right.
Which I was like, who knows? If they throw them enough money... Maybe that won't be the case, but it seemed genuine. Genuine. Then, Kenny Omega got up and said that this is the best show that he's ever had the pleasure of being involved in, ever in his entire career.
Right. And he gave big props to, Cody and the Young Bucks. And
Yeah, he took no credit for the show. He's just a cog in the wheel. They're the ones that did everything. They're the ones who took the risk, did this, and then he basically thanked the fans. Goodbye, good night, bang. And then then the people left, and it was like, wow, I just watched the best live show of pro wrestling I've ever seen in my life, top to bottom.
Yeah, dude.
5 hours. It felt like nothing.
Dude, it flew by.
It felt like nothing. I was getting a little tired, but it wasn't because of the show. It was just like the whole weekend and everything like that. The show was excellent. I mean, and I'm not just being like overly praising of this thing. I think now there are some naysayers. There are some people that didn't like this for whatever reason. What those reasons are, only God knows. I don't know. I can't even have that. That's not even an intelligent discussion, so I can't have that discussion because I don't get it.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that universally, this is a praise show.
Yeah.
This is a praised event, and this seems like something historic happened in pro wrestling on that weekend.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, man, that wrapped up All In. Afterwards, we went and...
It felt like we went to a WrestleMania, bro.
Dude, it did.
It felt like we literally sat through like a WrestleMania level caliber show. Everybody who was on that, with a few exceptions, Okada, probably Kenny. I'm just trying to think of who are like the big stars on the show. Maybe probably not Pentagon even. I think probably like Okada and Kenny are like the two guys. Oh, Rey Mysterio. Those three guys have definitely been a part of bigger moments, bigger career things. But for everyone else who's on the show, from the undercard up to the main event, including Cody, this was like the hallmark moment for every single one of their careers. All of them have never been part of something that did as much favor for them and was as important to their careers and livelihoods as this event was. This was incredible.
Yeah. Dude, this is phenomenal. I'm so sad it's over.
We had once we left, the whole place was buzzing, everything was crazy, and then we got to the parking lot, we're like, all right, so we gotta find a way out of here. We Ubered over, and then we're like, all right, let's grab an Uber. It's like $150 to Uber out of there.
Yeah.
I was like, what in the world?
Ended up calling it's an old school taxi.
We ended up getting an old school taxi after like an hour. We ended up at GameWorks super late. We went to the
Voices of Wrestling
meetup afterwards, and
met Rich Craich.
Yeah, we talked to some of the guys from Voices of Wrestling. It was great time. Got to make different connections. We talked to
Esteban, the president of the non-official North American New Japan fan club.
Yeah, that was really cool. So we got to have a long discussion with him about his involvement with New Japan and the efforts he's trying to make here in the States, trying to make the U.S. fan club a thing, how we can be involved with that. So that was really cool, just having after like a whole week of like the Bullet Club, it was kind of nice to kind of decompress and actually talk about like
New Japan.
Yeah. Because every time I talk to wrestling fans there, they did not want to talk about New Japan. Like,
right.
That's like a foreign thing to them. It was really weird. You'd think there'd be a lot more crossover. There's not.
I know, it is weird.
There's not a lot of crossover.
Also, we need to give a big shout out to Floyd Johnson Jr. He's a co-host with Jordan Fox on the Indie Wrestling Podcast. Man, let us stay with him for the weekend.
Yep. So we got to stay with him. Got to have a great week. Just incredible. Like, what are your thoughts? Like, where's this going? What do you think this all means?
I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, there's more buzz now for the NWA going into their 70th anniversary show. I think people are definitely excited for the Madison Square Garden show. So, I mean, it's right now. It's just, we're all looking forward to see what their next move is. Like, where they're gonna sign. Like, are they gonna re-sign with Ring of Honor? Are they going full New Japan? Like, what's gonna happen? I
don't know necessarily. I mean, I'm very interested to see what this core group of guys is gonna do. Mm-hmm. But this precedent of what they have accomplished within the industry, and the buzz and the acclaim that it's drawing, not only for fans and fandom, but also on the business side of things. I think it does change the perception of what wrestling can be from a conceptual standpoint, artistically and business-wise. And it does make me wonder, like, are people, like, you know, this is what happened with Hot Topic. Remember? You know, people, they were like, you know, someone famous, you know, or like someone from Hot Topic was like, who are all these people wearing Bullet Club shirts? How do we get these?
Right.
I'm just wondering, like, you know, with the stuff with WGN and everything like that, is there someone out there that's going to be smart enough from a business standpoint and be like, what was this and how do we make money off of it? And how do we, you know?
I think if WGN officials were there, I'm sure them seeing that, and we don't know the ratings yet off of the 0 hour, but I'm sure based off the ratings and the pay-per-view buys and the actual experience being there, I wouldn't be surprised if a WGN America or other TV partners are like, how do we capture this and get it on our network?
Do you think WWE had people there?
I don't know. I don't think so. Because it sold out so fast.
What are the chances Vince watched this?
I highly doubt that. Vince does not watch wrestling outside of WWE.
Even something like this?
No.
You don't think so?
Now, did Triple H watch it? Maybe.
I think he might have.
What, Vince?
No, Triple H.
Yeah, Triple H probably watched it, and I'm sure a lot of the boys watched it. But Vince didn't watch that crap.
I think Jason Jordan watched this. Because I'll tell you, I don't think he did. From the way he was looking at me, he didn't seem too happy
that I
mentioned All Into him. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But this it felt like very special. Yeah. Everything about this felt very special. Favorite match of the night?
Favorite match, hands down, Kenny Omega, Penta L0. That's my match of the night.
No, I didn't say match of the night. Favorite match of the night.
That was my favorite match of the night and my favorite match.
I think my favorite match of the night was Cody and Nick Aldis. I loved it, bro. I loved it. I don't know why. Like, I know it's not. I'm not gonna sit here and claim it was the best wrestled match of the night. It wasn't, but I loved it.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts? Your time in Chicago,
Your time in Chicago was great. I'm so happy to have the freedom to be able to travel and go to all these, big wrestling shows. And I just love that, we're incorporating the podcast and the site with all this stuff. And I'm excited to go to more shows, and I'm looking forward to growing our podcast and site along with, going to these shows and, meeting people and meeting fans. And just the fact that, even guys like Rich Kraetsch said that he's heard of us. He's heard of Social Suplex.
There was quite a few people that we talked to. Like, when we were at the AAW show, we were talking to people, and I'd be like, yeah. They'd be like, oh, you guys involved with wrestling? I'm like, yeah, we do, Keepin It Strong Style. Like, oh, we know you guys. Yeah. And I was like, oh, really? So there was, quite a few times this week where people, recognized the show and recognized us, and I was like, that's, it's still very new to me,
Yeah,
what I mean?
Man. So this shows you how much we've grown in the last year, and I want to keep growing. And I want to be able to have our own little meet and greet one day at one of these big wrestling weekends.
Not me. I'm not trying to have a little meet and greet. Don't ever talk about us having a little meet and greet. We don't have little anything. Okay.
Okay. I want to have a big meet and greet Q&A gimmick.
We're trying to make money off this crap, okay? Everything we do is big time.
we're gonna finesse you guys into paying to meet us. And
we were at a wrestling show one time, and this young guy was, I won't say his name, but he was cutting a promo. He's like, we'll have a little match, and one of the guy who's gonna wrestle, who's a legend in the sport, was like, no, son. We're not having a little match. We're having a big money match, okay? Let's get it right.
Yeah.
And I like that. I was like, you know what? We don't do anything little. We're freaking Social Suplex. We're awesome, even though we're very small.
We're getting over though.
No, yeah. So this was great. All in, just man. The show is just. It's perfect, man. It's perfect. Another thing too is so many fans talk about how this is all just about wrestling. WWE's about entertainment and stories and characters, and you guys just want to see flips, and you guys just want to see super kicks and wrestling and yada yada, which sounds stupid to me to begin with, because it's well, what are we all watching? We're watching wrestling. Like, let's not try to like get into this whole thing, like idea of that one product is different than the other. Like at the end of the day,
it's all wrestling.
It's all wrestling, and some of it's better than other ones. That's the bottom line. Mm-hmm. But with that being said, this wasn't like a New Japan show where it's sports styled. This was sports entertainment, dude. This was like literally a very sports entertainment centric. This is like what WWE and could kind of be if they were doing it better.
Right. I mean, tons of characters, storylines from being the elite, being paid off. Comedy. You had your hardcore match. You had your main event style matches.
Now, I'm under no illusions that these guys are going to branch off and run a weekly company or episodic television show. It's nothing like that. But what I'm saying is that everyone's doing it better than this one big company. So
yeah.
And not only that, this one big company is doing it better than everybody else on their developmental brand. So what is going on with that? You know what I mean?
Right.
It doesn't make sense to me. But that being said, this show has every right to be like acclaimed as a show of the year candidate.
Oh, definitely.
It's right up there with Dominion.
Yeah.
It's right up there with any like New Japan. It's right up there with Wrestle Kingdom.
Right up there with any of the takeovers from this year.
Right up there with takeovers. Right up there with Impact Slammiversary this year. So I mean, this show was just excellent. I really was happy to be there. We went to Supercard this past year, and like when I went to Supercard, it was great and it was historic and all that. Felt really cool. But we kind of left on a low note after the main event, and there was a lot of issues with the show overall. This show, I left and I was like, this was perfect.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even really, like, criticize
from the opening match, from SCU, from the Briscoes, all the way down to Golden Elite versus
I'm just so happy for those guys that they were able to pull this off, you know, because there's any little thing could have gone wrong and really ruined this for them. Mm-hmm. And it was like everything just went off without a hitch.
Yeah.
So, congratulations to the Bullet Club. Congratulations to the Elite.
Young Bucks and Cody.
Independent wrestling, you know, independent podcasting. Like, everybody involved. Like, this was just great.
Yeah.
You have any final thoughts?
No, man. I can't. If you haven't watched it yet, I don't know what you're doing. You need to go watch it. It's on. You can sign up for Honor Club. It's on there.
Fight TV.
It's on Fight TV, or it's now on New Japan World.
And the New Japan World broadcast has everything except for the
Joey Ryan.
It doesn't have that?
I haven't watched it, but I heard that they were going to edit out the...
I heard they had everything.
Okay.
But yeah. I could be wrong. I heard the only thing they don't have is the pre-show.
Gotcha. Yeah, Honor Club doesn't have the pre-show either. But I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard somebody saying that they were going to edit out the penis.
I mean, I heard that Harold Mai was gonna that they're waiting to see what was acceptable or not. But I heard that everything was on there. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, I already watched it on Honor Club. So yeah, go check it out. Watch the show. Let us know what you think. And next week we'll be back. I believe we'll have Road to Destruction coverage for next week. So looking forward to that and getting back on to watching New Japan. So make sure you guys connect with us on social media. On Twitter, the show is at KI Strong Style. I'm at Jeremy L. Donovan. Social Suplex is at Social Suplex. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Social Suplex, or join us in our Facebook group, The Wrestling Squared Circle, facebook.com/group/Wrestling Squared Circle. Check out all the other shows on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. One Nation Radio, hosted by Rich Latta and James Boyd, the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show from Scotland. The Outsider's Edge, featuring Rance, Carl, and Kyle, and our podcast dedicated to independent wrestling. Grown Men Watch This Shit, hosted by Jeremy Tate and Chris Bryan. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a rating and review. And until next time, goodbye and good night. Bang.
Thank you for listening to Keepin' It Strong Style. We'll see you next time.